Okay, seems like it is a bit of disconnection just now, but let me just check if it's working, guys. Okay, since we are back, we are back online. This type of GM for good morning. If you can see and hear me, all right, just want to make sure that this is working. I think just now there's a little bit of a connection issue, but seems like I'm back online again. Let me just know if this is working. Good morning. I think I can see some of your comments coming. Hi, Esther. Good morning. Hi, Brandon, John, ABC, Chewy as well. Hi. Eileen, Stephen, John, Colleen. Okay, very good. This seems to be working. Just now it was a bit of a connection issue, right? So I was thinking whether it was like live or not, but sometimes it does happen. But thank you so much for still staying over here. Welcome to the Ask Me Any Stock live session that is happening right now. All right. And today we'll be talking about the Singapore market, right? So what does this mean? Well, essentially, if you are looking at Singapore stocks, any Singapore stocks like DBS, Sheng, any Singapore stock, right? You are in the right place. Why? Because later I'm going to go through, not just me, but me and my team, we're going to go through the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about, right? As the name of the show goes, ask me, not ask me, ask any Singapore stocks, right? Every Friday we go live. So last Friday was US market. So today we are back to the Singapore market. So would it be okay, guys, right, if you help us to like and share, right? Help us to like and share, this live stream. We're live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Help us like and share. Please support the banner, all right? And that is where, all right, you can help us to reach out to more people can join us. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook, follow as well. Make sure you have done that so that when we go live, you can be alerted as well. All right, Ken? So thank you so much. Right, we have Lee Chen as well. Hi, Joseph. Good morning. Very good. So what happens is this, right? We'll do a quick market outlook as usual, right? Maybe we look at the S&P 500 index, right? Very strong move last night, okay? We'll look at the Straits Times Index, right? The Singapore market, just to see where we are as well, since we're looking at Singapore stocks today. And after that, we go to the next segment, which would be the stocks that you guys are asking about. At the end, right, that's where, we will share 3 top Singapore stocks that you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside, right? So make sure you stay all the way to the end. If you want to know what are these 3 stocks, of course, we have some bullish, signals coming on my system as well. It looks pretty good, right? There could potentially be, another 5, 10, 15, 20% upside as well. That's what we'll share at the end. Okay, so if you have never met before, my name is Choy, top tier MyZero trader in Philips Securities, and thank you so much for just joining me. Well, I've been doing this, I would say, for more than 15 years now, and I use what I call the one good trend strategy. Essentially, the name of this strategy is about riding strong threads, right? We kind of like take trades that are along with the trend, not against, along with the trend. Why? So that it's easier to be right than wrong, right? Because you're along with the trend, right? But only if you know what is the trend direction and to get out if there are signs of a reversal, right? So that's my one good trend strategy that I've been using for more than 15 years now, same as my team, right? All using the same strategy. We have a tool that I call the one good trend pro indicator that we'll be using later a lot, all right, to analyze your stocks and also the top 3 bonus stocks at the end as well, right? So I hope at the end you have a much clearer picture. So today's AMAS session is not really to explain, and break down the whole strategy, right? That will probably take about 2 hours, all right? So we do have a webinar next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. I think on the 2nd of June, next Tuesday. So link is right in the chat. Go to click on the link, register for a free webinar. That's where I will break it all down, how we have a 7-step checklist on the entire strategy, all right, and how do we actually seek for confirmations before actually knowing when to buy and also when to sell, all right? So link is right in the chat. Check it out. We have a webinar next Tuesday. I think this is probably our last webinar, right? So check it out. Link is right in the chat. And one thing I will add before I pass on the mic to my team, just to share a little bit on themselves, would be that today's session will be, sponsored by by SocGen, right? SocGen is kind of the issuer of DLCs, all right? DLCs, daily leverage certificates. We've been, talking about DLCs a little bit in some of the past few AMAS session as well. So later I'll share more about DLCs. Those of you who have some experience, good. If not to worry. Later we'll share more, maybe after doing a analysis on the underlying stocks that you guys are asking about. I will share as to how you can actually use DLCs, right? Daily leverage certificates, just like a normal stock on the, on your trading account, right? Whereby it allows you to leverage, it allows you to magnify your return by five times, right? So nothing complicated, right? So kind of like two product that a lot of people have been using, very popular over the past few years. Later, we'll be sharing more. So this show is sponsored by SocGen. Thank you so much, SocGen, as well, for just sponsoring this show and making it happen. Okay, so let me go to pass on the mic to my team member. So today I have with me Z. Z is back. I think Z has been out for the past few weeks, a bit of on leave, holiday as well. And let me just go to introduce Z first. So I think Z is one of the top brokers, same thing under me in Philip Securities, assisting our thousands of clients, conducting our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one sessions with our mentees, even assisting our team's portfolio manager, all right, with an 8-figure portfolio management business as well. All right, so Z is an expert in anything to do with charts, right? Why? Because she is a chartered market technician, CMT. Basically, what does this mean? Is an expert in charts, like anything to do with charts, technical analysis, pattern, candlestick, price action. Sometimes I do consult her as well. Of course, she's very well versed in the one good trend strategy. All right. So let me just pass on the mic to Z, maybe just to share a little bit on herself and what has she been doing over the past few AMAS sessions. Of course, she never joined us, right? Z, back to you.
All right, thanks Joey for the introduction. Hi everybody, welcome to our AMS on this Friday. My name is Z, if we have not met. So like what Joey mentioned, I think just a summary, right, as to what he just explained in terms of CMT. Basically, I just like looking at charts, right? But the thing is that sometimes market doesn't always give you a very beautiful chart to look at, right? Sometimes it might not be easy to spot the support, the resistance, but later we'll take a look at it, right? Especially those stocks that you guys requested, in the chat, right? And we will actually see how Joey's 1GT Pro indicator, right, will actually help you to make a decision very quickly, right? With a click of a button, you can see a bullish, bearish signal, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated, right? And it's something that is simple, that's repeatable, and you guys can also do it yourself, right? So, yeah, I'm very happy to be back, and I will be passing my time back over to Joey so that he can introduce Jia as well.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so yep, Z is back joining us. Later, you can hear her analysis on the stock that you guys are asking about. I think some of you are already typing in the name of the stocks in the chat, right? Very good, but I think you know what to do, right? So basically, guys, if you type the name of Singapore stock, so today is Singapore, all right? Don't type Microsoft or Apple, that one's US stock, okay? So type Singapore stocks, okay? And give us a bit of context, right? Give us a bit of context. So very simple. If you put in the effort to type, to explain a bit on the stock, I mean, not asking you to do the analysis, that's our job, but basically just to let us know a bit of like what do you want to know about the stock? Are you looking to buy, or maybe you are looking to sell, to get out, take profit? You bought last week, last year, what price, so that when we kind of analyze it, it's a bit more personalized to you lah. Does it make sense, Mark? All right, so give us a bit of context. That's where we'll give you a bit more priority when we were to analyze your stocks. Okay, so let me go ahead to just introduce another of my team member joining us right here, and that will be Jia Yi, right? So one of the top brokers under me in Philip Securities, assisting our thousands of clients and assisting our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one calls with our mentees, and also Jia Yi has a special expertise in this very, very technical area, right? And I call it the candlestick price action. So I think Jia is very, very good at looking at candlestick, right, in terms of the bullish, bearish candles, right? And it does complement what we have on the one good trend strategy, right? So let me pass on the mic to Jia just to share a bit on himself. Jia.
All right, thank you, Joey, for the short introduction. So for those who are joining us for the first time, I'm Jia over here, and I've been working alongside with Joey and the team since 2023, supporting in operations, client servicing, and also trade execution. So for those who have been joining us, welcome back. So today we'll be focusing on Singapore market, and I think especially for Singapore market has been showing quite a unique characteristics. I think investors are balancing out opportunity in sectors such as banks and also some of the tech company as well, and still eyeing on how the broader economic developments are. So I think for today, we'll go through the chart together, reviews like key levels, discuss how recent developments are, and also maybe identify potential opportunity that might be worthy for you guys to keep on your watch list. And I think at the end, you guys also should look forward to the bonus stocks that we'll be covering on. And I think with that, maybe let's get started.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Xiaoyi. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started right now. So just a quick disclaimer as usual. Okay, whatever that's being shared today and also all our live sessions, it's just for education purposes only. Right. So please do your own due diligence. Right. We're not asking you to buy or sell anything or do anything at all. Right. We're just sharing with you guys an opinion based on the strategy, our process, our framework, the tools that we're using. Okay. And you can decide on your own actions and your decisions. Cool. All right, Ken. So that's how it works, right? So just a quick disclaimer. Now let me go to talk very quickly about the markets, right? Just type of MM for markets, guys. If you want me to cover very quickly, maybe the US market first before we dive into the Singapore market, right? M for market, if you guys want me to talk about the markets, right, before we look at this S&P 500 index, let me know. All right, let's see who is here. I think we have more of you joining, more than 200 of you joining us here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Ask Me Any Stocks live show. If you're just joining us, guys, we have not really started yet, not to worry. We are pretty much covering the markets right now. All right, and since a lot of you are asking about the market, like Serena, Fiona, thank you so much, Jimmy as well, John Market. Very good. Let's talk about the markets right now. Right, before we move on to the stocks that you guys are asking about. So I see a lot of stocks that you guys are asking about. Okay, we are going to cover in a bit, step by step. Let's talk about the market. So this is the S&P 500 index. Very, very strong move, I would say, since early of April, right? So now is 7,563. In fact, last night, if you kind of like followed the news of the market, all right, and this morning when you wake up as well, you can see that we are pretty much at a record high again, right? You were resting for a while, few days. Last night, all right, that's where we saw some positive developments within the US and Iran. I think you've been following the news. There's what we call an extension, all right, potential extension of the ceasefire between US and Iran. Potentially the Straits of Hormuz can be open as well, all right, and then the blockade of done by the US on Iran's ports will be open as well. It's still pending Trump's approval, right? But at least there's some positive developments still ongoing. I think that's the reason why the market has pushed up pretty strongly yesterday as well, right? So 7,563. So I've been talking about markets, you've been following me, right? We have actually seen a very strong reversal since April, right? The long-term trend for the market, we look at the 100 days moving average, the red line and the blue line, right? It is up, right? It's been up since last year, in case you're wondering. Right? So long-term trend, no issue, no problem, right? The market is bullish, right? However, in the short term, we can also see weakness, right? And we actually look at what we call the green 20 days moving average line. You see the green line, when it starts to turn down in March due to the US-Iran war, right? That's where the short-term trend turned down, all right? That's where we saw weakness from 7,000 all the way to 6,400, all right? So long-term trend was up, but in the short term for like 1 month, 2 months like that, we went down. Does it make sense, Bob? All right. However, since April, you can see the green 20 days moving average line started to reverse back up. And of course, we talk about it in our AMAS session as well in terms of the reversal. All right. Green line up, 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 up. Is it still pointing up? Yeah, I think it's still up, correct? So I think the short-term trend is still up. The long-term trend up since last year, still the same, right? So I would say that the trend indicators are all looking pretty positive. Now, let me go to turn on, all right, the One Good Trend Pro indicator in terms of this very powerful tool, right? Whereby, in a matter of seconds, not just on stocks, right? Even on the markets, we can turn on the bullish and bearish signals, right? Buy or sell signals, green or red signals. Why? Right. So that it gives us an opinion on the market in seconds. Let me show you what I mean, right? 1, 2, 3, pump on. Some green color and red color signals come out, right? You turn it off, pump. Nothing happened, gone, blur already, right? Let's turn it on and see what it says. So you can see that once I turn it on, well, we have a guide on the market. I'll not talk too far back, but previously, as I say, in like April, February, March last year, when Trump talked about tariffs, we got bearish signals in the market, all the way down. So this means that if you see red color bearish signal, not just on the market, but even on the stocks that we are going to cover later, we try not to rush. Does it make sense, Mark? All right, we wait for the trend to confirm itself. We wait for the bullish, the green here, the green bullish signal to come out. Pam, pam. Then da 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 da. Right, another one, da 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 da, all the way up. Right, so we wait for the confirmation to get back in. Okay, and that's what happened. Right, very strong rally after the April tariffs last year. All right, it got pretty bad with China. It escalated with China. Right, tit for tat tariffs with China. But there were talks. It progressed forward positively, and it's good. Right now, over the past few months, let's dive into the bearish signal, as I say, right? So the green line was turning down, short-term trend was down. US-Iran war started, we got 1, 2 bearish signal, right? So when that happens, don't need to rush, right? Just be patient a bit, wait for some strength to come back in, then you get back in, right? And we talk about the bullish signals coming out for the entire market, all right? I would say since April. So now it's like almost end of May. So almost 2 months ago, we already talked about this bullish signal. You can watch the replay on our Ask Me Any Stock session when we cover the market as usual, right? It already came out since about 2 months back, right? In case you're wondering whether we got reversed, already reversed already, all right? Now it's another level already. Does it make sense, right? So already reversed. In case you're still thinking whether the US-Iran war, is still weak and stuff, no, already go up already, already reversed already, okay? We got 2 bullish signals, all right? And, we have broken the 7,000. So look at this, right? This 7,000 was a very key resistance that I talked about it many times as well, right? Even before the US-Iran war, since October last year. Every time we go there, we come down. We just couldn't get above 7,000 there. But finally, right, when there's some positive developments between US and Iran, a ceasefire came out, first round of talks went through, second round didn't really happen, but at least there's some ongoing negotiations like what we have seen over the past few days. We managed to break the 7,000 psychological resistance, right? And that's a good thing because when you break a resistance level, it shows that buyers are ready to take it higher to another level. And for the past 5-6 months, we were below it, right? How come you can just, 5-6 months, you touch like 4, 5, 6 times and you go back down, right? So the resistance should be quite strong, right? It should be a lot of selling over there, right? Hey, but how come now never come down? Right, we break above it. Of course, I talk about it as well in the AMA session, all right? And that is a sign of strength. Of course, that triggered the second 1 GT bullish signal. We consolidated a little bit above the 7,000 for a while. 7,200 gave way, and now we have pushed higher all the way to 7,563. So the market, if you have been following me, it has turned bullish since April, right? Since April, 8th of April to be exact, when we got the very first 1 GT bullish signal, right? 8th of April. That's where you can see it started to rebound already, right? Support has gone higher from 7,000 all the way, right? So let me just turn this red line to a green line because that is now a support level. So anything above 7,000, apparently you could just consolidate above 7,000 is fine, right? And then we go higher, and then we consolidate, and go higher, consolidate, right? That is where we are already in a higher uptrending phase. So anything above 7,000 is fine. But now, the thing is this, the market, it is not even retracing back down to retest the 7,000, right? The support has gone even higher, right? What do I mean by this? Well, you can see that this 7,000 is a resistance turn support. But over the past 1 to 2 months, well, we have seen the support around 7,200. We broke that, stayed above. Another support came in around that 7, I would say 7,3. Let's take a look at this right over here, right? Maybe around that 7,350 or 7,3, yeah, maybe about 7, let's say 7,320. Look at this, it was like about 2 weeks back. We were hovering above that 7,320 level, right? And resistance, right, in terms of the consolidation, there was actually a little bit of resistance at 7,500, right? So if you follow, I think like maybe last Friday, when I talk about the S&P 500 index as well, we were actually, below the 7,500 resistance level. I think we are maybe on this, then Friday, 22 May, last Friday here, all right, right over here, okay? We are kind of like below the 7,500. And I mentioned that 7,500 would be quite a key psychological resistance level. Why? Because you can see when we were here, about 2 weeks back, and then we touch, and then we come back down. Correct? All right. So when we were there, like, last Friday, I mentioned that some selling can potentially come back again because there is a 7,500 is a psychological resistance, okay? And we had, previously, went there and then sellers came back, okay? But over the past few days, all right, I was actually expecting it to, maybe rest a while first, below 7,500, maybe up, then down, then up, then down, be below that 7,500 for, maybe 1 more week, 2 more weeks, that, right? And then we break the 7,500. And then we go to another phase higher. That's what I thought. I think that would be better as well, right? Rest a bit, don't need so fast. Take a breather first, right? But it seems like the market is still quite strong, right? Never been rest a lot, all right? And over the past few days, we actually managed to break that 7,500 resistance level right over here. So let me just change this red line to a green horizontal support line right over there. So you can see now it's 7,563, right? Which is above 7,500 lah. All right. So what does this mean? Well, it means that the market is still a bit more bullish, right? We are not just resting, going sideways and doing nothing, just up and down, but we are, while resting, while consolidating, we're actually attempting to break, to find a new high, to break the resistance and push even higher. So I think that's the reason why I'm still quite bullish in the market. Long-term trend is up, bullish signals. Let me remove all these things. Bullish signals since 8th of April, still in play right over here. Green light, still pointing up. Short-term trend is up. Anything above 7,500, or maybe even to give a bit of allowance, right? It's only 3 days above 7,500, but anything above 7,500, I think we could see even more upside. I think many of the tech stocks, the semiconductor stocks, the AI plays in the US has been doing really, really well, all right? And we could still see more momentum in these stocks, I would say, over the next 1, 2, 3 months. So that is the S&P 500 index. So I hope you guys have a better understanding of the market right now. Now, let's take a look at what we call the STI, Singapore's Straits Times Index, right over here. And this is live, right? The market is trading. Singapore now is what time? 10:55 a.m., right? 5,023. So for the Singapore market, well, actually it has been very resilient, since like last year, right? You can see we get bullish signals since April, right? All the way up. Every time we get a bearish signal. So when we get a bearish signal, a red color bearish signal, doesn't mean it's going to crash on the market. It's going to go down like 10-20%. No lah. It just means that there's some selling coming back, all right? Probably a bit of a pullback, maybe go sideways for 1 week, 2 weeks, or 1 month, right? But every time we get a new bullish signal, all right? Bearish one, rested, went sideways a while. But in November, December, we got 2 bullish signals, all the way up, right? Now, let's just zoom into what has happened over the past 3 to 4 months. Well, I talk about this very key resistance, the 5050, right over here, whereby you can see every time we neared it and then we came down, neared it, came down, right? In March, of course, we got a bearish signal. We sold off when the US-Iran war started, right? So we were kind of like, trading below this very key 5050 resistance level. Many times attempted to go above it, but sellers came back and we retraced back down. But over the past, I would say, 1 week, right? I think we've started to see a bit of strength. Okay, you can see that a new bullish signal have appeared. The green 20 days moving average line. So a bit of strength in the Singapore market. I mean, of course, a bit of selling as well. I think the bank stocks, DBS, OCBC, all started to reverse since like about 2 weeks back. We saw the market push higher, a bit of profit taking over the past few days. But generally, you can see a green 1GT bullish signal has appeared, all right? There's a green 1GT bullish signal. It has appeared, okay? The long-term trend, you look at the red and the blue line. So long-term trend, red up, blue up, no issue. That long-term trend has been up since like last year, right? Very long way up, right? So that one, not a problem, okay? But in the short term, we must also wait for the green 20 days moving average line to also turn up. So it was slightly flat. Now, if you ask me in April, a bit of profit taking, right? Some of the selling, some selling in the tech stocks as well over the past 1-2 weeks, okay? But the past few days, it seems like the green 20 days moving average line have started to slope up. So okay, all right. I mean, at least there's some signs of strength, okay? And we are kind of like maybe hovering above this higher support level. So support used to be around that 4850, right away. You can see from here, rebounded, went up, rebounded, right? But now I think the support has gone even higher, right? Maybe support have came out around that 4950 to 5,000. Look at this right over here. Can we just remove these? You can see that that's where some bargain hunting have came out for the market from 4950 to around that 5,000 level over the past 1 to 2 weeks, right? So I think that's the range right now. I think it looks okay. Just that bit of profit taking have came out slightly higher near the 5,100. So I think the range is like 4950 to 5,100. So that will become like I would say the consolidation for the market. If 5,100 were to give way, that's where if we do get another 1 GT bullish signal. So now it's only one, all right? But I want you guys to put your attention to this, right? When we get the first 1 GT bullish signal, and that's what I always tell my graduates, when we get the first 1 GT bullish signal, that is a sign of some signs of a reversal. It's a bit like appetizer. Like it's like starting to see a bit of strength already. Like, you want to put your watch, you don't get ready, okay? But if the second one comes out or the third one comes out, then it's not just appetizer, it's going to main course already, right? It's where we're attempting to push, we're attempting to break the resistance, we're attempting to find a new high, right? And after the second one, you can see for yourself all the way up, right? So in this case right now, all right, quite clearly only the first one have come out lah. The second one come out already, haven't yet lah. When will come out? I don't know lah. But if it come out, I will sure know. Correct? As once the second one comes out, that is where I would say the market will be more bullish, right? I don't know whether it will be like in December, all the way up, but it will be more bullish already. Does it make sense? All right, Ken. So that is for the STI, and hopefully, all right, we break the 5,100. I think that's where it will trigger more momentum for the next phase of upside. Okay, so that's the market. Okay, Ken. Type F for follow. If you guys are following me so far regarding the market, F for follow. Right, just want to make sure all of you are still over here in case I was talking to myself for the past like 10 minutes. Let me know. F for follow, let me know. Okay. Wow, I see a lot of you have typed in the name of the stocks that you guys were asking about. Let's see, right? Okay, follow. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, James. Alex, good to see you here as well. Willie. Abdul, hi, Vincent, follow, very good. I hope all of you get value, and that's the whole point of this Ask Me Any Stock session that we've been doing for more than a year, since like beginning of last year. Every Friday we just do it, right? It's really just to just to add value, to share with you guys, and hopefully you guys get an opinion. So thank you so much for just joining us as well, for your time to join us. We really appreciate that. Okay. And let me go ahead to pick the very first stock. So let's move on to the next segment, which is the name of the show, right? Ask Me Any Stock, right? So I'm going to pick the very first stock for today, right? Very first stock for today. Give me some time. I've not really go through it yet, but let's see, right? So what you're going to do right now, for those of you who have not yet done it, you can type the name of the Singapore stocks that you would like a quick opinion on. All right, give us a bit of context, like what many of you are doing. Right, thank you so much for just putting the effort to type, a bit of context. Like what price you bought this stock, what you know about it. You want to sell, you want to take profit, or what? Right. So I will pick the very first stock, and then I'll pass on the mic to Jia Yi, and then Z will carry on as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'll just pick the first one right over here by Esther. Esther, right? Esther Go, thank you so much. I hope you're still joining us. Okay, can please advise on Addvalue Tech? Continue to hold, but average below 10 cents. All right, Yang Zhejiang Shipping down XTB. Okay, I'll just cover the first one, Addvalue Tech, right? Okay, so I believe you bought it like below 10 cents. I'm not too sure how many shares, but you bought below 10 cents. And let's see what price is it now. Okay, can Addvalue Tech, is it? Addvalue Technology, A31, right? Should be, right? Okay, Singapore SGX. Okay, let's click on it. Let's go. And that would be Addvalue Tech. Wow. Nice. So you got in at below I would say below 10 cents. Wow, very good. Below 10 cents. So that means you got in maybe around here or here, below 10 cents, right? Very good. Now the price is 0.197. Amazing, amazing. I would say that this stock, it was one of the stocks that came into our watch list, okay, but this is more of like a technology play in Singapore. You can see that the price is about, 10, 11, 12 cents, 18 cents, now about 19 cents. So a bit more speculative, a bit more like a penny kind of play, okay? But it has been in our watch list for a while. In fact, one of those, tech stocks that's been doing really, really well, all right, compared to, similarly, like AEM, UMS, Franken, I think maybe that's somewhat some of you are asking about, but this is definitely one of the stocks that is looking pretty good. I actually did a YouTube video on this stock, if I'm not wrong, I think like last week or something, right? So you can check out my YouTube video. I think Addvalue Tech. Yeah, correct. I think a few days back, we published a YouTube video. I covered the top Singapore tech stocks that you want to watch. Check out my YouTube channel, all right? If you have not yet done so, that's where I actually talk about the Singapore tech stocks, okay? But now let's just dive into this company called Addvalue Technology, right? In terms of, is it still good? Continue to hold? Or maybe you should go and sell everything because, it's going to come down or what, right? Don't know, right? Scared, right? Well, let's go ahead to find out. So Addvalue Tech, quite clearly since last year, definitely a stock that is in our watch list. Why? Because the long-term trend is up. Very, very nice, right? We can also draw what we call an upward sloping, channel support line connecting the lows. And very clearly, yes, formed higher lows since October, right? Very nice, right? Go up, then down a bit, then up some more, down a bit, then up some more, right? So long-term trend is up. The short term, it is not always up. In the short term, we look at the green line, right? You can see it was like flat and then up, then flat and then up, then flat and then up. And now is still up, right, Ken? So it's been like, going up, resting for a while, the green line flattens out. And then it breaks the resistance, it goes up, the green line go up again, and then flatten out again, right? So this is a sign of strength as well, because we actually like counters like this because it's not just going up every other day, right? It is resting and then it goes up, right? It's taking a break first, right? Sleep for a while first, right? Recover some energy first, and then you move up. That's what we call a sustainable, healthy uptrend, right? And if we can turn on the bullish and bearish signals, let's say any single stock, any asset classes, doesn't matter what stock you want, right? We can turn it on, pump, and we can see what happens. So that signals gives us the added confirmation. You can see, right? Since like last year, we actually got a very good first 1 GT bullish signal coming out right over here. The second one come out, and then it went even faster, all the way up, right? I don't know how many percent, all right? From here all the way to the bearish. So when we see a bearish signal come out, right? I think it's fine to take some profit, get out. How many percent would that be? Huh? Wow. 700%. So much. 700% in like 9 months. 700% in 9 months. So if you see a bearish signal, I think 700% quite a lot already. So get out, take some profit, okay? So take some profit, get out. All right, and wait for the time to get back in again, right? Now, let's take a look at what has happened, right? So I think for Esther, right, you got in at about below 10 cents. So I assume maybe over here, right, it was just below 10 cents. Maybe you saw this, I'm not too sure whether you saw this 1 GT bullish signal when it was just below 10 cents, but we got the new 1 GT bullish signal coming out, all right? The green line that was like flat, a bit boring, right? Flat, then got bearish signal, right? And then you get out, take some profit, 700%, right? And then wait for the time to, not wait until Christmas, right? But wait for the time to get back in, right? When it's bullish again, right? So it came out, the bullish signal came out on 14th of April. Next day, few days, it broke the 10 cent and then we started to fly again, right? All the way, and now it's 0.197. So after the 700%, it rested for like about 1 month. Then now how many percent? Well, now another 105%. All right, 105%. Who says Singapore stock very boring? Right, 100, so 700, and then now got another 105%. Right, not 20, 30, 105%. Okay, and it still looks good. Okay, it still looks good. Now, let me go ahead to take a look at what could be a potential play right now. So thank you so much, Esther. Right, whereby I think you for giving me a bit of context. So I think the key here is that you have got in below 10 cents. Maybe you saw this bullish signal, right up here, very, very good entry. I don't know whether you caught the 700% before that, but doesn't matter. You caught this one very good, right? So you are on like maybe 100% gain right now, okay? So the thing is this, right? Should you take some profit? Should you get out, all right? Because you're, continue to hold, okay? Should you sell everything? Now, very simple, because we are looking at 100% gains right now, okay? I would say that resistance have came out at around that 20 cents psychological level, right? So over the past 3 days, you can see even today, right? I think we went to about 20 cents, okay? High yesterday, 198. So 20 cents will be a psychological resistance level. It is normal to see some selling near that 20 cents level, right? It is normal, right? Because first of all, it's 20 cents, right? It's a very key psychological level, right? And we have gone up by quite a fair bit as well. So the key here is this. I'm not too sure exactly how many shares you have got in, okay? But if it's a huge position, let's say you have like 100,000 shares, 200, 500,000 shares, right? I don't know, right? Then that's where you could take some. I mean, for us, we always say there's nothing wrong to take some profits near a psychological resistance level, or near what we call a very key resistance level, right? So it's only 3 days, all right? Okay, I mean, that's where selling a comeback. But let's say after 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, and then we are still below the 20 cents. You get what I mean? We go to 20 cents and we still come back down again, right? And that would mean that this 20 cents is quite a firm, strong resistance. Because now it's only 3 days, but let's say after 20 days, we are still below. It means that this 20 cents really quite hard to cross. Makes sense? And then I think it's nothing wrong, right? By all means, take some profit near that 20 cents level, right? But that is the taking profit part. That's the easy part, actually. After to take profit, you make money, right? Happy, right? But the not so easy part, which should be the protecting of your profits, all right? So what you can do, all right, you can see that for this 1GT Pro indicator right over here, I could turn on the trailing support line right over here. And once I turn it on, you can see that, okay, let me just go ahead to just turn off the moving averages so it's a bit clearer, okay? And when you see that, you can see that, now, when we got the bullish signals popping up, this trailing support, this green line actually popped up and it was below Addvalue technology, right? Right over here, it popped out, it was around 8 cents. As Addvalue tech move up, it followed it as it move up, right? Up, flat, right? Then you might ask me, Joey, how come here never follow, right? You guys like flat so long, why never follow? Because they also never go up, so nothing to follow, right? But once it start going up again, then you follow. Make sense? All right. And over the past few days, we got another bullish signal. You can see now that the green trailing support line has, after remaining flat for like a month, it has started to follow it up, flat, and now it is around that 0.152 to 155 level, right? So what you want to do is that you also want to take steps to protect your profit. So if it starts to consolidate, what happens is that, this trailing support will maybe, up, flat, and it might start to flatten out, something like this, right? So it will just to consolidate, and you could have a stop loss to protect your profits for those remaining balance shares that you did not take some profits. Does it make sense? So that no matter what, you still make money because you've gone in at a very good price. The last thing you want is that, you come all the way back down to your original price. No, right? You still make money no matter what if you actually take steps to protect it. So what we do is that you can take, kind of like steps to have a stop loss, and we put it below the trailing support level just to protect the downside. Right, protect the downside. And the best here is this. Why I say take some profit, I never say take all, because to be honest, it still looks good. Right? But I don't know when the 20 cents will give way. Right? It could be tomorrow, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, next week. I don't know, right? If the 20 cents were to break, if the 20 cents were to give way, if sellers were to like, okay, sorry, y'all can carry on, right? I will not surrender already, right? And then you go to 205, 21, 22, 23. That is where the next phase of upside could happen, right? We would even see maybe a new bullish signal, right? By then, I don't know whether it's your 100% could be even more, it could be 120, 150, 170, right? That's where the next phase of upside could continue, right? So that's why we say nothing wrong to take some profit, but we also don't want to take all because it still looks good, right? Just that we are seeing a bit of resistance near that 20 cents, right? And if 20 cents were to give way, Okay, I can tell you this trading support will confirm follow also lah. Follow. Don't follow until when, right? You will follow it and you protect your profits even more. Does it make sense? All right. So that would be for Addvalue Technology, right? One of the Singapore tech stocks that we've been covering, I would say, on my YouTube channel, on my YouTube videos for the Singapore market since like a couple of months back. So I hope that helped, Esther. I hope that helped. I hope you guys got a little bit of nuggets as well in terms of risk management, in terms of protecting profits. Okay, and that's the very first stop for today at Value Tech. Okay, let me pass on the mic. Let me pass on the mic to Jia Yi to cover his next Singapore stock for today. Jia Yi, yours.
All right, thank you, Joey, for covering Addvalue Tech. I think the next stock that I'm carrying on, actually, it will be same. Just adding on to Esther, the Yangzijiang Shipping. Because I think some of you guys are also asking about Yangzijiang Shipping. Let me just bring it out. I think Eileen was also asking about Yangzijiang Shipping. Looking to buy. It has dropped from 430 to 360. Is it a good time to enter now? And I saw Raji also asking about Yangzijiang, but I'm not sure whether you have position or whether you are looking to enter or whether you are taking some profit or stop loss. So maybe when you guys are typing your stocks, do make sure that you guys type in what you guys want us to analyze on, whether you guys are looking to buy or looking to sell, or what price do you guys buy in at, so that we can give you a better analysis on the stocks that you are requesting for. So I think for Yangzijiang Shipping, okay, I saw Raji say bought at 450. Okay, let me just analyze on Yangzijiang Shipping for you guys. Okay, so let me just remove this. Give me a second.
Done.
Okay, so I think for Yangzijiang Shipping, hopefully you guys can see my chart. Okay, I think Yangzijiang Shipping previously have been showing quite of weakness in the past, actually back in 2025, but recently has been starting to show more strength. If you look at the trend wise, if you look at the 100 days and the 200 days, we can see that obviously it has been pointing up since maybe September 2025 when it crossed over, showing some bullish long-term strength. But at times we can see that the 20 days moving average is showing a bit of weakness. Sometimes it start to go up, but afterwards start to flatten a bit, come down a bit, then afterwards start to show more strength. So maybe for Yangzijiang Shipping, let us look at where could be the potential resistance and support for this counter. Let me just remove the drawings. Okay, so do you agree that for Yangzijiang Shipping, right? I think the near term wise, we can see that resistance could be around that 430 to that 440. Why? We can see that actually this Yangzijiang Shipping came close to the 440 back in March 3rd, came close to this 440, couldn't break above, came back down, afterwards came to test in May again near to that 440, but then same thing, it couldn't stay above and come back down. So we can actually see that there's some support for Yangzijiang Shipping to be around that 360, this level. Let me just change it to green color. Why? You can see that back in actually this start of the year, January 2026, you can see that previously prices was kept under this 360, which is a resistance. Couldn't break above, came down to that $3 psychological support level. Afterwards, came close to that 360 again, and just in Feb, it managed to break above. So now we can see that actually for Yangzijiang Shipping, it's kind of trading or kind of consolidating around that 360 to that 440 level. Prices went up to the 440, came back down to test that 360 level. That just in March, you can see that actually this level, it was able to stay above. Then afterwards, it went back up near to that 440 again and came back down. So now it's actually back to the support of 360. But of course, we wouldn't know how the trend will be or how the stock will move moving forward. Whether is it able to stay above this 360 or is it going to rebound back close to the 440 again and consolidate sideways? We wouldn't know. But we identified that the support for this Yangzijiang Shipping is at 360. We can identify that 360 is a key support level that it previously was a resistance, turned into a new support and managed to stay above. So I think 360 might be a key support level that you want to monitor to see whether prices for this Yang Zijiang is able to stay above. I think if you were to turn on that buy and sell signal, I think you can see that actually currently there's a 1GT bearish signal. So what does this 1GT bearish signal means? No, doesn't mean that there's a 1GT bearish signal means that the stock will crash or go down. It just means that there's more selling pressure. We can see that prices actually went close to the 440, but afterwards sellers came in, took control and pushed the price down to that 360 level. So I would say if you are looking at this chart wise, currently there's a 1GT bearish signal. Usually wouldn't recommend you to enter when there's a bearish signal, especially when it shows that there's more indication that the sellers are taking control. But if prices are able to stay above this 360, we might see that prices might rebound back to that 440, or if prices are able to break above that 440, there might be more upside towards that. Just doing a simple projection from 360 to 440, I would say the next target might be around that 520 or even that $5. But I would say for now, the key support level that we want to monitor is at 360. And if prices are able to stay above the 360 and break above that 440, which it was kept under for the past few months, there might be more upsides towards that $5. So I think to answer some of your questions, looking to, I think Eileen, you say you looking to enter for this counter, Yang Zijiang shipping. Is it a good time to enter? I'll say if you want near a support 360, you can enter a short position, a small position, but with the 1GT framework, usually wouldn't recommend you to enter when there's some weakness in the short term wise. Best is to wait for price to stabilize, see whether it's able to stay above the 360, and when there's a 1GT bullish signal that first appear, maybe by then you can see where could be the support level to enter. So I would say currently for now, if you're looking to enter, I think like what Joey previously mentioned, if you want, you can nibble a bit. 360 might be, you want to enter a small position, you can try out, but wouldn't recommend when there's some weakness currently in this counter. Yep. And I think for Raji, I think you mentioned that you went in, you bought at 450. So I think previously when you bought at 450 could be near this March when it was near a resistance level. So not too sure was it during this period and you bought it back in March. But I would say for this Yang Zijiang shipping, if you bought it at a 450 when you enter, best is to actually have a stop loss plan in mind as well when prices goes against you. But I would say for now, since prices are back to near that 360 support level, this level, you want to monitor closely to see whether prices are able to stay above this 360 level. If prices are not able to stay above and breaks below that 360, then maybe you want to have a stop loss plan in mind. Yep. So I think basically that's a brief one for Yang Zijiang shipping, and hopefully that answers some of your questions on Yang Zijiang shipping, whether to enter or whether to stop loss or to cut, to exit. Yep. So I think basically that's it for Yang Zijiang. I'll pass on my time to Z to cover her stock.
All right, thanks, Jia. Okay, so let me share my screen over here. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen? I think it's loading, right? Yeah, okay, you can see. Okay, great. Okay, so I think the next stock, right, that I have over here would be by Jenny, right? Jenny, I hope you're still here. You are one of the first few that actually asked this question as well. Bought Joe Energy at 0.515, and since then price has dropped to 0.45 due to Indonesia's announcement on regulatory of commodities export. Can average based on current price level. So what you are saying and what I'm understanding from your question is that you are thinking to buy some more when the price dip. So basically averaging down, right? Averaging down. Okay, so maybe let me just hide the comment first. And Jenny was also sharing something about the Indonesia's announcement on regulatory of commodities export. So I was just like doing a very quick search to understand a bit more about this as well, right? So basically, just to give a bit of context, is what they are doing is that 4 days ago, I think Business Times, if you guys do a quick search in Google, there's an article about Joe Energy, right, saying that the company actually expects further clarity on Indonesia's plan to centralize commodity export control. So basically, what the government want to do is that they want to have a say, or to have part of this export process because what they are trying to do is that the exporters, right, they are trying to go through, as in basically the government, right, is trying to say, instead of the companies directly exporting elsewhere, right, the companies must go through a channel, right, through a designated state agency. So basically the government wants to be involved in this, to boost the government's national revenue, to combat under invoicing, to make sure that, the companies don't artificially reduce their tax, right? So things like that, right? But so far, based on what the company mentioned to Business Time, they did not receive any official directives yet. So as to what is going to happen in the future, in the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? Because they said by right, this is supposed to start somewhere in June, right? Not too sure how the price is going to move, because at the end of the day, it also got to depend on how the company pivot this headwind, right? And how they're going to tackle this issue, right? So based on us, we want to look at the chart, because the chart will tell us what the market is actually thinking, what is the market sentiment, how is people actually reacting to this news, right? So far, based on what we see over the past 2 weeks, not very good, right? You can see that the price actually dipped, like what Jenny mentioned. We even have a 1 GT bearish signal appearing, and also very long bearish candlesticks, right? As you can see, not one, but two, right? There's one here, or actually 1, 2, 3, right? Very 3 long bearish candlestick. So for this, let me just pull out Jenny's comment again. You mentioned you first bought Joe Energy at 0.515, right? 0.515. So I would say 0.515, I think somewhere here, right? Somewhere here or here. I don't know whether you bought it here somewhere in March, or do you bought it here very recently, right? Because by right, you should not even buy here, because why we don't want to buy when the price is actually dipping, right? Because essentially when you're doing that, you are like catching a falling knife, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that. And we got 1 GT bearish signal, 20 days moving average pointing down. We typically don't want to buy at this place, right? But maybe you bought here, right? But if you have bought here, what price went all the way up to a high of close to 0.680, right? Here was the high, about 67 cents. Never take profits. Then now come back down, back to square one, sitting on losses, sayang, right? Never take any action here to actually protect the profits, right? So actually, let's take a look at what is actually happening now, right? Based on your situation, and you're thinking about averaging more down, right? When the price actually dipped, and now it's at 0.465. But first, before that, we need to know where are our support and resistance, right? Because you want to buy, we also don't want to anyhow buy, right? But of course, based on this, what we are looking at right now, typically, maybe, let me see, how many of you are here today? About 303 right now, right? 303. Based on what you guys are seeing on your chart, as you guys can see on mine on the screen, maybe you guys can help me out and also help Jenny out, right? To give me some of your opinions and what you guys think. Should Jenny, right, actually buy more now, like average down, right? Based on the current price at 0.465. Initially, she bought at about 0.515, right? Now it's at 0.465. What do you guys think? Buy more, don't buy more, average down, don't average down? Let me know, right? Let me know in the comments, just to make this a bit more interactive, so that you guys don't just listen passively, right? You guys can also interact with us and also, talk to us in the chat. Okay, let me know. Do you guys think that Jenny should maybe buy more, average down, lower, or no, or maybe, cut loss, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me see what you guys think. Let's see. ABC says sell. Kwang Kwang say hold. Pinky the muffin. Don't buy, Jenny. Okay. User nimble at 0.45. Wait. W, I will assume is wait Wait. Sell. Take loss. Enter small sizing. Don't buy first. Wait for uptick. Then buy more to level up. Wait. I also trapped in this sudden drop by energized move. Wow. So actually a lot of you guys are actually also holding Joe Energy. Okay, very good. They are picking this stock. So that at least I will cover both sides, right? Those maybe who are thinking about buying, but also those who are already in a position, right? what are some of the levels that potentially you might want to take note of? Okay, so right now price is at 0.465. As you can see over here, like I mentioned, support resistance, very important, right? You can see here I've drawn a very, very clear breakdown of this level, right? Which is what, 0.56. Previously it was a resistance, wow, break above 1GT bullish signal, price went up, all three moving averages are up, right? This 0.56 for a period of time from April all the way to May, before it broke down, middle of May, it was a support, right? It was a support. It then subsequently break down, 1GT bearish signal come out, bearish candlestick. These 56 cents become a resistance, right? 0.56 resistance, right? Then now, where are the support and the resistance? I would say that right over here, right? I don't know if you guys can actually see, maybe I'll just draw first. Around this 0.52, I would say that there's some sort of level that was actually broken as well. If I extend it over here, can you guys see this level previously was also a resistance back in 2025? And I think this period, May, if you guys ask me, but this level is like testing, not very clear. I will agree. Definitely this period not very clear. If you guys recall this period, what actually happened? March to April, I think that was the escalation of the tension and the war, right? People start panicking, and you can see it's also not very clear. I also agree, not very clear, right, in terms of candlestick. But subsequently, you can see price resume back up and continue to hold above this 0.52, right? And then it went up. Buying pressure return, buying interest return, support came back and pushed prices back up. And I think this level, 0.52, is the next level that it was broken. And this day, 20th May, it broke down this 0.56, one level already. And on the very same day, it break this 0.52. So this day, I was definitely very, very bearish. We got a bearish signal plus a very long bearish candlestick, right? So these two levels we have established and we can identify it, right? And then the next level, the next support level or the resistance level, where would that be? As you can see, maybe I'll just draw it over here, right? Can you guys see right over here? I think 0.460. 0.460. I would say that this level, right, I think is the immediate level that perhaps you guys want to take note of. Over the past few days, I would agree that this level here is testing, right? It's definitely testing this 0.460. Now price is 0.465. Now it's above. Whether today will it close above or will it close below, I also don't know, right? I also don't know. But I know that this level, as you can see, why did I draw this level as a level to take note of? Can you see? Okay, sorry. Let me do it like that. Here was a support, right? Here was a resistance. Then here, price was definitely above this 0.46, right? Definitely is a support, right? And your support, in fact, gone higher, right? And then now it is back here once again testing it. So that is the reason why you can see I drew this level as a level to take note, because of the multiple times that you can see over the past months, right? Even since 2025, this level was being tested multiple times, right? And then what about support level? Now I draw resistance, right? What about support level? I think very clear. Can see this 40 cents would be a support level to take note, right? A support level. You can see buyers came in, price rebounded, managed to hold above this 40 cents, right? So now the thing is that when based on Jenny's situation okay, Jenny's situation, you bought at 0.515, right? 0.515, now it's 0.465. And do you think about averaging down? Typically, we don't want to average down when there's weakness, right? Because why? If you buy when it's cheaper, the only reason you're buying because you want to average down, you want to reduce your price, and it's cheaper, but then the signs is telling you that there's weakness. Can the price go even cheaper? It can, right? It can. If it doesn't hold above this 0.460, and maybe let's say today, next week, it tests this level and close below this 0.460, do you think that there's chances of this price going back to the 40 cent support level? There could be, right? Because this 0.460 previously, as you can see, it was a very strong resistance for 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4-5 months, right? During this period right over here, right? So right now, in terms of averaging down, I would say usually we refrain from averaging down, right? We only want to average up. You buy more with strength, but not buy when there is weakness, okay? Not buy when there's weakness, right? So, I mean, for Joe Energy, right, I think these are some of the levels. Definitely, you guys, if you guys are holding on to a stock, right, you guys want to maybe set some price alerts at these levels, right? And of course, if this level, if it breaks like that and it goes below these 40 cents, then those of you who are holding on to your position, be it Jenny or some of you guys who mentioned that you guys are stuck, right? Have a stop loss plan in mind to manage your downside risk as well. Because if prices were to really break below these 40 cents, do you think this 100 days moving average will also maybe start to show some signs of it pointing down? Whereby then it's not that great, right? It's not that good because short term definitely is pointing down already, right? Short term is pointing down and we are not seeing signs of it flattening out yet. So those of you who are saying, hey, maybe wait then think about buying more. Yeah, we can potentially monitor, right? Whereby I mentioned that we want to see whether this 46 cents, can you hold, can you break above it, or is it holding below it? I don't know, right? That is what we want to monitor. Immediate level 46 cents. And the other thing that we want to monitor is for price action to actually stabilize, right? Maybe to hold above a certain support level, buyers are returning, and the 20 days moving average right over here to see it potentially flattening out as well, right? To show some sort of stabilization before thinking about doing anything. But right now, at this point in time, we want to refrain from buying anymore because we don't want to buy on weakness. Okay, so I hope that give you guys some insights on some of the levels and also what's actually going on with this company, because at the end of the day, we want to be, on the right side of the market. We don't want to go against the trend, right? And not just because there's news, we listen to the news, but we also, at the end of the day, we want to look at chart to see how market is actually absorbing the news and it's reflecting on the chart. Okay, so that would be for Joe Energy. I'll pass my time back over to Joey to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, I see quite a lot of you asking about this stock. And let me just go pull up your comments first. All right, Ken. Let's see, Alfred, all right, hope you're still joining us. Bought Singtel. All right, Singtel. The stock is Singtel. Z74 is the code, right? So you bought at $4.55. Should I load more at the current lower prices? Will Singtel drop further? So now it's 436, 437. So you got it at 455. Okay, will it go lower? Right, should you rush to get in now? We'll find that out in a bit. Let's see, a few more of you asking about Singtel. I think like this 2 or 3 of you asking about Singtel. So let's go on. Kuna, I bought Singtel at 450. Okay, 450 was so slightly cheaper than yeah, slightly cheaper, right? So very good. Okay, I mean not very good, but I mean slightly cheaper lah. Okay, after reaching a peak, price came down. Now hold or add more. So same thing. You got in, now came down to 437. Should go and buy some more. Or what should you guys do, right? Now, let's take a look at maybe Joel Ng. Is it advisable to buy Singtel as its price fell a lot? See, so some have bought already, go down, maybe buy cheaper, right? Joel haven't bought yet. Joel thinking about buying now because it's cheaper, right? Okay, now let's take a look. So a lot of people asking about Singtel. Yep, so Alfred, you got in, right? 455, 450. Lee Slim, Singtel, I sold all with some profits and want to re-enter. All right, very good. So you want to re-enter, you sold all, got profits previously. Now want to get back in again. Right? A lot of Singtel. Let me see. Okay, still got some more Singtel. SG Boy Wonder for Jia Yi to answer. Okay, so I skip. No. So I can answer, right? Singtel broke H and S pattern. Okay, it also broke down from the parallel trend line. So wow. Not too bad, Gap down to this, go to this, looks weak. TAY is where you think it will be supported. All right, so I'll help Jai to answer SG Boy Wonder on Singtel regarding the H and S pattern. Oh, very good. Head and shoulder pattern, neckline. Very good. Let's take a look at that in a bit. Right, good that you mentioned that. Wow. Another side, Singtel. Help on Singtel. Bought at $4.99. Okay, so slightly cheaper. I know. I think a bit more expensive. $4.99. Buy or hold. Recent trend, you saw 2 bearish signal, blah, blah, blah. Like earnings, maybe not so good. Reason, downtrend. Okay, so Singtel, right? Let's take a look at Singtel right now. We have like more than 5 of our audiences asking about Singtel. So this is Singtel, $4.37. So first thing first, I'll say that for Singtel, I mean, since last year, you could see that the longer term trend has been pretty strong, right? We look at the red line, pointing up, the blue line pointing up, no issues. The long-term trend is up. We have gradually moved from 2024, $2, $2.20, $2.50, $3, $3.50, $4, all the way up. Very strong longer-term uptrend. But of course, in the short term, you can see that we can pull back one, right? We can also pull back here in September, all right? We can see a bit of a weakness here as well. right? So there could be some short-term weakness. It could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, right? It could be 3 months as well, okay? Now, let's take a look at what is happening over the past 5 months. So I would say that for Singtel, we have seen this very key resistance coming out at $5.20 right over here. You can see that's where we were holding below it. We neared it, sellers came back and we pushed down, okay? Support-wise would be this level, right? The $4.40 psychological resistance, right? From August to October last year, we broke above it. You can see we retested, went back up, came back down, retested again, went back up, came back down again, right? So support is at $4.40. Okay, so I think over the past few days, let's take a look at what has happened for Singtel. I mean, why are we seeing, past 1 week, like pump, just like down, right? Well, I think let's take a look. I think there's some let's see, right? Singtel shares dropped after 21% profit decline and a cautious 2027 outlook. So I think there's some earnings announcement, right? 20% profit decline. It came under pressure after the company delivered a cautious outlook and a weaker second half earnings performance, right? Even as its full year profits came in better than expected. So even the full year was good, but in terms of the quarterly earnings, right, maybe not so strong, right? And also a cautious outlook for 2027 next year as well, right? Net income for the 6 months ended March dropped 21% to $2.21 billion. So net profit was a little bit down. Right, you read more about it, but I think that was some of the news that came out. Right, it kind of like it's a drag on the Singtel shares. Okay, I think there was some market talk as well. Singtel shares look slightly expensive at a 12-month forward PE ratio of around 30 times, and some analysts covering it, maybe saying it's a bit overvalued and stuff. Right, that could be a bit of a sell down as well. All right, so that was some of the news that came out. Now let's take a look at it technically. All right, as to what is happening. So I would say that in terms of the longer term trend is up. No issue. But since like March, when the US-Iran war started, you can see the green line started point down, flat. And now, I would say the green line is still pointing down. Correct? So the short-term trend, unfortunately, has been down since March. It is still down for now. Right? For now, it is still down. Okay? So let me go ahead to turn on the bullish and bearish signals. Let's a very quick opinion what it is showing, right? In the signals, right? That's a non, and let's take a look. So I would say that for Singtel, okay, so same thing, I mean, as I say, any single stock, any asset classes, you would turn it on, right? Look at this, we got some bullish signals in January last year. What happened after that? You can see for yourself, all the way up. When we get a bearish signal, relax, right? Get out, take some profit, all right? How many percent would that be? 39% in like 7-8 months. Okay, right? So we get bullish signal, it starts moving up. Another bullish signal, it starts going up again, right? Now let's take a look at what has happened over the past, I would say, 3 to 4 months. So we got bullish signal in February, it went up. But unfortunately, you can see some bearish signals actually appeared somewhere in April. Right? When it was around the $4.80, you can see the green line also started to turn down. So it just looks a bit more, I would say, weaker right now because over the past like 2 weeks, we got not one, but we got two 1 GT bearish signal. So not one, but two 1 GT bearish signal. Plus the green line is turning down. So short-term trend down, 2 bearish signals coming out. And one thing that I think that you want to be careful as well is because this 440, all right, this 440 will be what we call a neckline support. Okay, we can call it a horizontal support, it's fine, but I think just now SG Boy Wonder, right? You're saying that Singtel broke the HNS, the head and shoulder pattern. So let me just talk a little bit more about it, right? This is what we call some of the bearish reversal pattern, all right? So you can see, let's say we have a support that goes, let me just give you an example. Let's say we have support that goes like that, right? And the price of the stock starts moving up, right? And it starts to move up like that, down, up, down, up, something like this. Okay, so this is what we call a head and shoulder pattern. So we have what we call the first rebound from the neckline, the second rebound from the neckline. So why is this called a head and shoulder? Why you can see that it looks something like a head and shoulder. So this is like the head, right, which is the peak. Okay, like that, the peak. This is the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Does it make sense? So this is what we call a head and shoulder pattern. So if we were to see a breakdown, right, in terms of the neckline support, whereby, rebounded, okay, right over here, that is potentially where I would say some selling can come back in terms of this reversal pattern, right? Now let's take a look at what is happening right now. For Singtel, right? Is there really a head and shoulder pattern forming? Okay, let me just go to remove the signal. So as I say, we have two bearish signals out already since 2-3 weeks back. Okay. And right now you see that this looks something like head and shoulder, right? So this is the right shoulder. Sorry, the left shoulder, the right shoulder, right over here. So shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, and we got the peak right over here. So it looks something like a head and shoulder, right? The only thing is that we want to get confirmation, all right, in terms of it actually playing out. And that is only, so we don't want to guess like, oh, I think we'll break down, all right, and because of this pattern, it will go lower, right? We only want to get in when we get confirmation that this pattern has been formed, right? So up to, over the past like 3-4 months, this pattern it hasn't really completed yet, right? It will only complete if we were to break down this neckline, which is the $4.40 support level, right? So I think 440 is very key. It's what we call a psychological horizontal support that, it was a resistance, turn support. So it's a horizontal support level. And coincidentally, all right, it also is the neckline support of this head and shoulder pattern. So what am I trying to say? Basically, guys, those of you who are asking about Singtel, right? I would say that right now, it is right there. I mean, it's right there, right? It's like $4.37. It's just below the 440. Okay, it's only 2 days. I think yesterday also was like below, right? So it is a very crucial level, right? I think in the next few days, maybe today is Friday, maybe up to next week, if we continue to stay below 440, not so good. Not so good, right? That is where there will be a completion of this head and shoulder pattern. That is where these two bearish signals that I talked about, right, would continue to play out, all right? The green line that is already down will still point out even more, okay? And we could see, unfortunately, more short-term selling. As I say, short-term selling, right? Long-term is fine, but I think you agree with me that in the short term, if we stay below the $4.40, we could see the next support level, all right? I think next support could be all the way up, okay? The next psychological, $4. So $4 was a resistance. It became what we call a support level right over here. So resistance, turn support, right? So yeah, right. That I'm not saying that you surely go there, but I mean, if we were to stay below 440, unfortunately, weakness can come back in the short term. We could, gradually push lower, all right? And potential downside move could be anything to $4 to even the 420 support level, right? So that could be where hopefully some bargain hunting were to come back in again. So those of you who have been, I think those who have got, I think it's good to have a plan to get out, especially, so by right, when we get bearish signals, you should have a plan to get out, reduce some exposure, cut loss and stuff. Don't, hold all the way down, correct? So that is if we get bearish signal, and of course, don't buy also, I mean, once we get bearish signal, as I say, we try not to rush to buy, because sometimes I think a lot of people like to, a lot of our graduates and staff, and our students, people like to ask, hey, when to buy, right? Hey, when to buy, right? When's a good time to buy? But I think it's also good to understand that not every time is a good time. It can be a good stock, right? But the timing is also quite important, right? Because a good stock, but wrong timing, then like also not so good. That doesn't make sense, right? But good stock plus good timing, then better. Doesn't make sense, right? So it's also good to ask yourself, is it really the right time to buy? All right. And when not to buy also. That's very important. Okay, Ken? So I think that is for Singtel. All right. I think it just looks a little bit weaker below 440. Hopefully, I mean, it climbs back above 440. If it happens, good. If not, selling can happen in the short term. Downside move could be all the way $4, 420. That could be kind of like a bit of weakness, right? And that's where these bearish signals that already been triggered. Let me just turn it on again. All right, it could continue, unfortunately, to play out. Okay, so that would be for Singtel, right? So as I say, guys, so if you want to find out a bit more about the entire one good trend strategy, so I think we have covered a few stocks, right? But if you want to find a bit more about the entire one good trend strategy and how we have a tool like this, right, to guide you on not just about when to get in, but also when not to get in, right? Attend a free webinar. The link is right in the chat. I think probably hidden somewhere on top, but our team just placed the link in the chat, right? Next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. These are last few webinars, right? That's where we'll break it all down for you, and perhaps how you could have a tool like this just to guide you a bit more as well, right? To get in, to get out, and also how we actually sieve out the top 1% of stocks, right, in seconds, and then know what to do with them. Okay, so that's the link in the chat. Check it out. All right, look forward to see you in the webinar. Now, let me go to pass on the mic to Jia Yi to cover the next Singapore stock. Jia Yi, yours.
All right, thank you, Joey, for covering Singtel. I think a lot of people are looking at this counter, and previously was one of the counters that we covered as well. Yeah, so I think what Joey had mentioned just now is something that's quite important, and I mean I also believe in it. A good counter doesn't mean it's based on the timing. It also matters as well. If you enter near a resistance, like what we always say, sellers will come in to push the price down, and that's where your risk to reward might be very low. So this is why we always encourage clients to always enter near a support or identify where's a support level and have a trading plan in mind. So I think the next counter that I'll be covering on, just give me a sec, will be on this counter. Wilmar. I think some of you guys are asking on Wilmar. Let me just pull it out. I think Wilmar bought at 360 on 12 March. Whole cut loss or average down. Okay, then I think someone else was asking about Wilmar as well. Wei Hong, what about Wilmar? How about Wilmar? Not sure whether you are looking to enter or whether you are looking to let go of this counter. And I think there's one more person, Vicky as well. Should I cut loss for Wilmar, Hong Leong Asia, and Hoppa? Which one has one red, 1 GT? So I think for those who do not have the 1 GT indicator, you guys can know, like what Joey had mentioned, next Tuesday there's a webinar. Feel free to attend it, and also you have access to the 1 GT light trial indicator as well for 14 days. So during this period, you can try out whether these indicators suits you or not, or whether how you guys how it can actually guide you on your trading as well. So I think all these will be covered during Joey's webinar. So feel free to attend. Yeah, I think so let me just cover quickly on Wilmar how this counter is. Okay, I think for Wilmar previously, I think we did mention about Wilmar as well back a few times back. I think for Wilmar previously, I think just in last year November, it actually started to show more strength. Actually came close to the 330 resistance level previously. Couldn't break above, came back down to the $3 psychological level, which is quite a support that prices actually stayed around this level for the past whole of December. Managed to break above 330 in January. So start of this year, prices actually broke above that 330 level, which it was being kept under previously. And afterwards, you can see that there was a 100 days, 200 days, and 20 days all started to point up, started to show more strength. Prices break above that 330, which is a breakout strategy, went close to that 360 level, came back down to test that 330 again. Afterwards, break above the 360, and afterwards went up to the 390. So we can see that 390 actually is a key resistance level that it was previously kept under for the past, I would say since March to until now, I would say about that 2-3 months, has been kept under the 390 level. But I think most importantly, what we are looking at is currently how this counter is moving, whether those with position, whether you should be cutting loss or what you should be doing with it, or those who are looking at it to enter, where could be a potential entry level. So first thing is we look at the 100 days and 200 days obviously is pointing up, but I think we want to bring attention to this 20 days moving average. Prices previously was kept around that 360 to that 390 level for the past 2 months, but just recently it actually broke below that 360. Then afterwards, prices continue to show more weakness, which is why you can see that the 20 days moving average actually starting to point down. But I would say if it breaks below that 360, where is the next support? Like what we mentioned just now, 330 was a key support level that it previously tested quite a few times. And I think on this day, which is on just 28 March yesterday, we can see that no prices actually broke below that 330, went close to that, went to the lowest point of around at 315. But afterwards, buyers came in to push up the price back above that 330 level. So it seems like buyers are still supporting for this counter. 330 is still quite a strong support level that buyers are willing to buy and push up the price. So I would say if you're looking at this counter wise, I'll say 330 might be a key support level that you actually want to monitor closely whether prices are able to stay above this level. And near term wise, I would say since it broke below that 360 level, now near term wise, there's a resistance near that 360. So overall, I mean, if you turn on that buy and sell signal, which the indicators quickly shows you how whether there's a 1GT bullish or 1GT bearish, we can see that there's not only one but two 1GT bearish signal. You can see that previously prices broke below that 360. There's a 1GT bearish signal that appear. Afterwards, it showed more weakness, another 1GT bearish signal that appear. So it indicates that short-term wise, there's much more selling pressure for this counter Wilmar as compared to buyers. I would say for now, short-term wise, it's a bit of showing of weakness. If you're looking to enter 330 might be a key support level that you actually want to monitor to see whether it's able to stay above. Maybe if you want, can nibble a bit. But overall, with 1GT bearish signal, I wouldn't recommend. I would say if you want, we can wait for price to actually stabilize first. Because it's just yesterday that the prices showed a lot of selling pressure, but afterwards, buyers came in to push out the price. Maybe if you want, we want to see whether it's able to stay above this 330, stabilize above the 330 first, and afterwards, when it start to show more strength and there's a 1GT bullish signal, then you can consider to enter for this counter. So I think for those who are looking to enter, maybe hold on first, wait for a 1GT bullish signal to appear first, and afterwards, see how the movement for this counter is moving forward. But I think for just now, CJ and I think Ricky was asking, you bought at 360. So it looks like previously you bought near a support level, which is a good thing. You bought near a support level. But when prices break below this support level, you should have a stop loss plan. I think when prices break below the 360, I think you could have get out maybe on the second day. Or if not, I think now currently prices are moving back close to that 360 resistance again. If you want, maybe if you want to let go, wait for price to stabilize first, maybe near that 360 resistance, maybe you want to let go your position, then afterwards re-enter when there's more strength. And I think another person, I think Ricky, also know whether to cut loss. Not too sure what's your price that you enter for this Wilmar, but to answer your question, there's 1GT bearish signal for this Wilmar. So hopefully that answers your question on Wilmar as well. Yeah, so I think with that, I will pass on my time to Z to cover her next stop.
All right, thanks, Jai. Okay, let me share my screen. Right here. Okay, so I think the next stock that I'll be covering will be Bumitama, right, by Pinky the Miffy. Nice to see you here again. You mentioned that you bought Bumitama at 1.36 and you're thinking whether should hold or to sell. And I think this is a very valid question because we started to see price coming back down, right, when we reach an all-time high around $2.10, right? So perfectly valid question, right? And you mentioned that you bought at 1.36. Right, 1.36 now price is trading at about 1.53, so still sitting on some profits, right? But I mean, of course, somewhere in end of April to start of May, that would be even better lah, because price was at around $2.10, right? I'm not too sure if you've taken any profits, partial profits, when the price was actually going up from March all the way to April, right? But right now we are definitely seeing some weakness returning, right? Why? Number one, what do we spot? We spot for 20 days moving average. It is definitely pointing down, right? Nobody can say it's pointing up. It's really clearly pointing down, right? And we also have a 1GT bearish signal that actually appeared on the 19th of May, right? And this 1GT bearish signal is actually still playing out, right? There is no bullish signal yet, right? There's no bullish signal yet. And price have been kind of like going down since this day all the way to where we are at, right? I think it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8-9 days, right? It gone down by about 20% since the 1GT bearish signal actually came out, right? So now the question is, you're sitting on profit still, right? But prices is going down. Should you continue hold or should you sell, right? So always same thing. We always go back to the basics, right? Which is where we want to locate our support and resistance, because why? The thing is that if we know that support level is broken, right? What does it tell you? It tells you that sellers are returning, right? Bears are winning. The buyers are actually losing, right? Buying interest is getting lesser, right? And because of that, if you are sitting on profits, then wouldn't you want to faster take your profits first, because you know that sellers are coming back in, right? Supports are being broken and turning to become resistance once again, right? So that's the reason why, if let's say, anything, if you're confused about, always go back to the basics. Number one, look at the trend, right? Then number two, we want to see where are your support and resistance, to know where are the to know where are the buy zone and where are the sell zones. Okay, so back to this. So let me draw some levels, and then maybe we can discuss them together, right? So right over here, I will draw one of the level right here, and here, I think there's a level here as well, right? Can you see there's a level like here, 180, right? This level. And then right over here, I will also draw something right here, right? Okay, so I have drawn 3 levels. As you can see, I just draw it, right? And these are some of the levels that I will specifically take note of, or maybe set some price alerts, right? Especially like for Pinky the Miffy, and also for some of you guys who are holding on to this position, right? So as you can see, prices went all the way up, right? We have 2-1GT bullish signal coming out here, and prices went all the way up to these $2.15-16, right? So I think around here 220, right? There could be one resistance as well, right? So you can see 220 definitely resistance, selling pressure came in, push price back down. Right over here, $2. Number one, $2 psychological level. That's the reason why I drew it as well. And secondly, if we look at the candlestick, can you see that right here? There's this very bearish candlestick because of the long upper shadow, indicating that selling pressure is present, right? And this whole period here, from April all the way to May, prices was kept below this $2 level, right? Managed to break above it for a couple of days, but unable to hold above it, right? Selling pressure came in, pushed price back down, rebounded, right? This level, right, 180 is a support level. As you can see, on the flip side, this area is where you start to see candlestick with long lower shadows, right? And that is what suggests to you that buyers are present, right? Buyers are present. But unfortunately, on this day, price broke down. 1GT bearish signal appeared, and price went all the way back down to where we are at right now, right? And right here, I would say that I've actually drew my immediate support at $1.50. Why $1.50? If we were to look back, $1.50 right over here, this level was being tested, right? I mean, definitely you can see that it was tested, but did it manage to firmly hold above it? No, it didn't, right? Selling pressure came in, pushed price back down once again. And right here, can you see, like from January all the way to February, end of Feb, right? This level was tested as a resistance, 150, right? Tested multiple days, and you can see attempting to break above it, but cannot, right? This, at that point in time, this level 150 is still what we call a resistance, right? Eventually, right here, bullish signal came out, managed to break and hold above this resistance, right? And then that we actually have a retest, right? We actually, selling pressure came in, profit taking happened. We actually had a retest of this 150 from a resistance to become a support, right? So that's the reason why I think 150 is a very, I think, crucial and immediate support level to take note, right? For the price at this point in time, right? So for Miffy, right, for Pinky the Miffy, right, if this 150 were to be broken, I think perhaps that's where you can consider to actually lock in some profits as well, because if we know that the support level is broken, just now like what I mentioned, means sellers are returning, right? And we already got a 1GT bearish signal plus 20 days moving average is pointing down, and you can see that the resistance, right, are coming back, right? You can see if let's say your chart suddenly all the lines turn to red color, you know that support broken become resistance, support broken become resistance. Not that good, right? Not that good, right? So the thing is that 136, I believe you perhaps have bought earlier, maybe somewhere in Feb, somewhere in this period. I'm not too sure where exactly you bought it, but at a point in time, right, from 136 to here, it was actually a 58% profits, right? 58, you were at some point in time, you were sitting on 58% profits, right? But now we are sitting at about 13% profits. I mean, of course, 58 to 13%, 58, of course, better lah. Who don't want more profits, right? So the thing about this, right, maybe one thing that maybe I can share, or a tip lah, that you guys can take away, is that if you are sitting on profits, right, if you are sitting on profits, one function that you can actually use, right, is this trading support and resistance function. Okay, you see, if I turn it on, you guys can see, right, there's this level, this green and red shaded area that actually comes out, right? This is actually the trailing support. And a trailing support, it is also a valid support, but it is, I would say, a dynamic support that moves accordingly as the price moves. You can see that the price go up, right? This trailing support also go up when the price go up, right? So it moves together with the price, taking into account of the stock volatility, right? So if we were to use the trailing support, how do I use it, right, to protect my profits, right? So one way that you can use it, right, is to set stop limit order, especially for those who are having a position sitting on profits, and you turn on your trailing support, you can see that it's going higher and higher, right? One way that you can utilize these is, let me just put these to dotted line, okay, so that you guys can see clearer. So imagine that the price continue to go up, right? For Pinky the Miffy, the situation 136, right? And price continue to head up higher, and you can see that this trailing support also moves higher, right? If you continue to shift this trailing support slightly below the trailing support in this way, right, you protect your profits up and up and up and up, and then you can see that price starts to come down, retrace back. Your trailing support don't go down, it goes sideways. And at this point in time, should you shift your stop limit order down? We don't usually shift our stop limit order down. Why? Because such stop limit order, the purpose is you want to protect your profits, right? You want to protect your profits. And in this situation, right over here, perhaps when the 1GT bearish signal came out, if you have a stop limit order in place, perhaps you would have locked in, about 31% profit rather than now, if never take any action, the profits from 31% came down to about 13%, but of course, if near the resistance you take partial profits, that would be even better, right? I mean, that's a totally different mindset, a different strategy, right, that we can actually implement, right? I mean, but we don't have time to dive into those too in depth today. But if you guys want to know more about the strategy, right, the 1GT framework, feel free to attend the webinar, which I believe Joey and Jia have mentioned earlier on as well, right? But back to this. The key thing is what I'm trying to say, right, is that if you are sitting on profits, right, do take steps, right, to actively protect your profits so that it doesn't erode away, right? It doesn't erode away, because at that point in time, when you look into your account, you're sitting on 58% profits. But then now you go into your account again, then you see, my 58% profits now suddenly become like 10%. You also will be a hard pain, right? So we try to take active steps to protect our profits, right? Especially so when we can actually make use of things like that in the indicator with the trailing support to help us with that. Or in fact, if you don't have the trailing support, you can go back to the basics like what I mentioned. Look at your support and your resistance, right? Because if a support were to be broken, then not so good. That is where perhaps you might want to lock in your profits, or if you're in a losing position, that is where you might want to think about cutting losses, reducing exposure. Okay, so I hope that helps to give you something to think about. I mean, in terms of protecting your profits. But with regards to Bumitama, these are some of the levels definitely that I will take note of. And for Pinky the Miffy, if this 150 breaks, then perhaps you might want to think about taking some steps to protect whatever profits that you are left with at this point in time. Okay, so that would be for Bumitama. I will pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z, right? So good one on Bumitama, right? So you can see, guys, when we get a bearish signal, right, or a 1GT bearish signal, right? After moving up and up and up, you get a bearish signal. I think it's good. I think Z also mentioned, right, it's good to get out, take some profit, right? We don't want to hold all the way down because there's some clear signs of selling, right? Weakness, reversal coming down. Can? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Hopefully it's not as bearish, right? And that would be, let me just go to share my screen. And that would be this company called ST Engineering, right over here, user LG1PV. All right, I hope you're still over here. ST Engineering, right? Okay, thanks for giving us a bit of context, right? Is it time to get in, right? It seems like it is going up. Yep, I would say go up a little bit over the past 1 week. Thinking to buy, right? So it's gone up, but maybe you think it might go up some more, right? So you want to think about getting in, okay? So let's take a look at ST Engineering. Is it a good time to get in? All right, now the price now is $11.26. So what's it for ST Engineering? Okay, I'll not turn on the bullish and bearish signals. I'll do that in a bit, but ST Engineering, I've not covered it for a while already. I mean, it was quite boring over the past few months, right? Later I'll talk about the short term, but since last year, if you have been following me, it has been one of the top performing stock that we covered since beginning of 2025. I mean, look at the long-term trend, right? It was like up, the red line is up, blue line also up, right? Until now, so up very long already. A long-term trend is up since don't know when now, 1-2 years ago already, okay, Ken? But in the short term, it can also, go flat, boring, go down a bit, right? And then the past, since April, also come down a bit, right? So in the short term, we can see a bit of weakness here and there. But once we get bullish signals, once we get the short-term trend also turning back up, what happens? Let's see, right? So let me go to turn on the bullish and bearish signals. Pump. There we go, right? So this is ST Engineering. As I say, right, since last year, if you are actually a client of mine in Philips Securities, you have a trading account under me. In fact, let me know, guys, how many of you are clients of mine in Philips Securities? That means you have a trading account under me. I just want to thank and acknowledge all of you. Right, type C for client. If you are a client of mine in Philips Securities, that means you have a trading account under me, all right, in Philips Securities, where I'm a broker, my team, Z, Jia Yi, we're all top brokers in Philips Securities. C for client, if you're a client, I want to see how many of you are joining us, a client. Pinky the Miffy, definitely. Jared, hi, good to see you as well. Roland, Harry, right, a lot of clients joining us every Friday. Thanks, Fiona. Energizer, confirm you. All right, Vincent, Ellen, Esther, Emily. Okay, a lot of clients over here. Well done. So you can see, if you're a client, I believe you are receiving our daily updates and ideas, right, by WhatsApp daily, right? So if you are not yet a client, so I think ST Engineering has been one of the stocks whereby we covered since last year. In fact, today also, I think I got my team to send up a note, right, just to watch this stock as well, all right? ST Engineering. Now, why am I saying this? Well, if you're not yet a client, right, if you're not yet a client, it means you are trading, I mean, you are trading, you need a trading account. But if you're not yet a client, okay, like many of our clients over here, like Simon, Sifang, SG Boy Wonder, I have an account already, but different broker. How SG Boy Wonder, good question. I'm going to put the link in a bit, right? So reach out to my team. My team will share with you how you can have an account under me. Why do you want to have an account under me in Philips Securities? Like many of our clients over here. Why? Well, essentially, that's where you get free ice cream and no ice cream and stuff. Basically, all right, the point is that you actually get some of our top ideas, right, by WhatsApp daily for free at no additional cost, okay? And some of our private trainings, right, that, you will not be able to find anywhere, all right? So if you have a trading account in Singapore, you have a broker, you log into your online trading account, but your broker, don't do anything no service, never send you any idea, no video, no trading, never WhatsApp you, never call you, nothing, Find out how you can join many of our clients over here. All right, the link is right in the chat. All right, so that you can get ideas like ST Engineering, many of the tech stocks we have covered since the beginning of the year. Okay, Ken? Link is right in the chat. Right, so SG Boy Wonder, go to click on the link, find out more. That's where you can see what many of our clients are saying as well in the link. All right, so team, just place the link in the chat again one more time. Okay, Ken? Okay, so let's take a look at ST Engineering. You can see that we got a couple of bullish signals since last year, right? Pump, right? All the way up. So doesn't mean always got green bullish signals. Sometimes also got red color one, then it starts going down. All right, then you just be patient, right? Another bearish signal, and then it starts going down from October all the way to December, right? And somewhere around end of the year, end of last year, we got the 1GT bullish signal, all the way up, right? But over the past 2 months, I would say since March, April, when the US-Iran war started, you can see that it was a little bit boring, right? The green line, the 20 days moving average line, it was like pointing up, started to flatten out, maybe even started to point down a little bit, right? And we actually got a 1 GT bearish signal coming out. So that just means a bit of selling pressure coming back, right? We could, potentially hit lower if we do get other confirmations as well. So take some profit, get out, maybe wait for the time to get back in again. Now, over the past 1 over week, well, it seems like we actually got a new 1 GT bullish signal coming out, all right? So you can see a bearish one. This one went sideways for like 2-3 months. And then the bullish signal came out. We got a bearish signal. This one went down for like maybe a few days only, right? And then the bullish signal comes out, right? So would there be some signs of strength already coming back? Well, I would say definitely, right? There are definitely some signs of strength coming back because not only do we have a bullish signal, the green 20 days moving average line that was like down over the past 1 over week started to turn up, right? So not too bad. At least we got a confirmation that there's some signs of reversal. Buyers are starting to come back. We would have found what we call a higher support level. So support used to be like maybe about $10 and maybe I would say $10.30. You can see, right? 10.30 was a resistance, rebounded, all right? But now support maybe would be slightly higher around that $11. So $11 would be what we call a psychological support level. Seems like over the past 1 week, buying pressure is starting to come up there, right? So back to your question, user LG1P, right? Is it time to get in? Seems like it is going up, thinking to buy. Well, I would say that definitely there's some signs of strength. We already got a bullish signal. If you ask me in like, April and May, I would say, be a bit more patient, wait first, because the green line was turning down, right? We even got a bearish signal, right? But as of the past few days, definitely some signs of strength. A first 1 GT bullish signal have appeared. It's an appetizer. Remember, the first one is kind of like an appetizer. It's kind of like, telling us that, something is beginning to happen. All right, it's beginning. There's some signs of it happening soon. Okay, if we get other confirmations, right, and that would be, a higher support being found $11. The next thing would be the resistance. Okay, just write it down. I think that level is very key, lah. Okay, just write down $11.50. So take a look, guys. I think okay, if the 11.50 were to give way, so now it's 11.26. Okay, lunchtime already, so it's like not moving already. Okay, but if 11.50 resistance, whereby we were here in April, and then we sold all the way down, right? If this 11.50 were to give way, that means we go above 11.50. All right, that means we go 11.52, 55, 50 something lah. That is where I can tell you we would potentially trigger a new 1 GT bullish signal. So I have these two right over here. We didn't really turn it on, but you can see there's a horizontal support and resistance. Let me turn it on. You can see that is where right over here there is this resistance level, right? So this one is not a draw one, right? This one is based on the two that I have. You turn it off, it disappears. Turn it on, it comes out, right? The horizontal resistance right over here at 11.50. Okay, so if we were to, as I say, if we were to break the 11.50, we would get another 1 GT bullish signal appearing, right over here, right? If the 11.50 were to give way, I think that is where it would be much faster lah. I mean, as I say, we got 1 bullish signal, you can get ready already lah. You got a second one or third one, it's not get ready. We are attempting to push higher. We are breaking the boundaries. We are breaking the wall, breaking the barrier, the obstacle, trying to push higher, right? So definitely more buying pressure, more momentum coming back for sure. All right. So 11.50 will be very key. If that happens, I think that's where targets could be revised, right? The range would be like this range, right? So we can just extrapolate it upwards above that, 11.50. Maybe all the way to 12.80, maybe $13. I think that could become like the upside targets, right? Yeah, maybe all the way to 11.80 to $13. Yeah, 12.80 to $13. All right. So that is for ST Engineering. Not too bad. One of the stocks we have covered since last year. I think if the 11.50 were to give way, we could potentially see more upside. So as I say, guys, if you want to find out as to how to get some of our top ideas daily for free by WhatsApp, all right, check it out. The link is right in the chat. How you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free. You do not pay anything more. It's the same as whatever you're paying when you're trading, right? The question is, what service are you getting? I got no service, then you click on the link and you check it out, see what other clients are saying, and you join many of our clients over here, right? Join many of our clients over here, so many clients over here, right? So yeah, like Jing, Idris, all right, Joe as well. Hi, Kelsing, Jimmy, thank you so much. All right, so SG Boy Wonder, but different broker. You have an account again, good SG Boy, right? You have another broker. Okay, click on the link in the chat. The link's right in the chat. Find out how you can come on board as a client. Get some of our top ideas for free at no additional cost. Okay, Ken? Okay, so that is for ST Engineering, right? So as I mentioned, guys, today's show is sponsored by SocGen, right? By SocGen. That is the issuer of the daily leverage certificate. So I want to show you guys that since we're talking about ST Engineering, right? I think who is asking about ST Engineering, and then not too bad. I mean, there could be some signs of reversal. If we break the 1150, we could potentially see more upside, right? So how could one actually take a position, right, on ST Engineering? Of course, you could just buy the underlying stock as per normal. So let's say if from here, if it goes up all the way to this target is a 16% upside, which is quite a lot, also like 16% upside gain from the underlying stock. But let's say you don't want to buy the underlying. Why? Because you want more profits, you want a higher return, you want a higher ROI. Is it just 15%? All right, or would it be more than 15%? All right, and that's how you can use this tool called Daily Leverage Certificate. Let me show you what I mean, right? So this is, as I say, this tool is sponsored by SocGen. So thank you so much for giving me time just to share a little bit, right? So you can just go to the website. The link is right in the chat. You can just place the link in the chat in terms of the SocGen website. So this is where you'll come to, all right? So essentially, Daily Leverage Certificates allows you to magnify your return by a fixed leverage factor on the Singapore stock. So for let's see, so you can go to here, underlying. All right, so these are all the, okay, let me just show you. So these are all the underlying stocks. So you can see there's Hong Kong indices, SG indices, even Hong Kong stocks, Singapore stocks as well. You can see you've got DBS, Keppel, OCBC. Where is ST Engineering? Here, right over here. So, right. So for the Singapore stocks, in terms of the leverage factor, it'll be 5 times, 5x. Now, what does this mean? Well, to keep it simple, basically, if the underlying were to go up by 2%, right, then if you get in on the DLC will go up by 5 times of 2%, right? So if the underlying go up by 2%, 2 times 5 is 10, right? So the DLC will go up by 10%. So it's a 5x multiplier, right? You 5x the performance of the underlying stock. So let me just show you ST Engineering right over here. Click on it. So this is the code. You can go to any trading platform, all right, and you can go to search the DLC. All right, you can see this is the code right over here. So there's a long DLC, there's a short DLC. So if you're thinking that it will go up, like what we're talking about, right? If to hit our target and stuff, then you can take a look at what we call the long DLC. So go for the one that is star, all right? The star is most sensitive right over here. So let's just click onto it and take a look. Okay, so this is the code UQKW, and you can take a look at like 6 months, right? So you can see the price of the DLC. So it's like a stock traded on the exchange, right? Singapore exchange. The price is $2.22, right? That is for the DLC price. So if you look at it, like in terms of the ST Engineering price, it's like $11.26. So it's more than $11 lah. But the DLC, it is $2.22, right? So let me explain to you, how we can do it. So as I said, to keep it simple, basically it's a multiplier of the return, right? So if the underlying goes up by 5%, your DLC will go up by 5 times 5, you'll go up by 25%. Of course, if it were to go down, the losses similarly will be magnified. So if you take a look at this thing right over here, you can see that for ST Engineering, I'll just put my mouse right over here, and you can take a look at this red box that is, that just popped out over here. You can see that the red color, okay, so you can see the red, this red color, UQKW, is plus 212.04%. So over the past 6 months, right, the DLC has gone up by 212%. The underlying, you can see, is 35. So 35.54%. So ST Engineering over the past 6 months has gone up by about 35%. All right. So you take 35 times 5, right? So let's say you take 35 times 5, because 5 times, right? So 35 35 times 5 is 175%. How come the DLC go up by more than 175%? Right? It should be 5 times now, right? Well, essentially, in a nice trending market, like especially for ST engineering, right over here, even though it's like 5 times the performance, due to the compounding effect, you can still get more than 5x the performance, right? So it will not be like 175, it will be more than 200% because it's a very nice trending market. Each day it compounds and compounds. All right, so do check it out. Just a shout out in terms of how one can realize that ST engineering also got DLC, right? So we're not talk about it. All right, so yeah, find out a bit more. All right, you can just go ahead to have any issues on DLC. There's a DLC hotline right over here, and the DLC team from SocGen will assist you, right? But essentially, this is a leverage product, okay, whereby you could get a higher return, higher ROI, right? And you can go to this website right over here. The link is in the chat. Go ahead to search for the DLC, right? Can just take a look at the, like the underline, right? So depending on whether you're looking at Singapore stocks, Hong Kong stocks, even for US stocks, they have DLC as well, right? Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft also have. Right, check it out. The DLC link is right in the chat. Okay, so yeah, just a quick one. I hope it's a bit clearer right now, not just on ST engineering as well as on the DLC. Let me go to pass on the mic to Jia Yi to cover the next Singapore stock. Jia Yi, yours.
All right, thank you, Joey. Just to cover, I think Joseph was asking, is there a need to open a separate trading account with SocGen for DLC? So for DLC, it's similar to how you trade stocks. You just need your trading account under any brokerage, then you are able to trade DLC. So I think if you are new to DLC, you can find out more about the leverage, how it works, and the risk involved for DLC. I think the link was in the chat. So you can just feel free to go into the DLC website. I think they have a lot of information about it as well. Find out more before you start trading. Obviously, you want to know what you're trading into or what you're doing.
So there's a lot of tradings in the DLC website. I forgot to mention, guys. So go to the education tab. Maybe I can just show you very quickly. But good question. I forgot to talk about it, right? So there's this education right over here in terms of some videos, right? Handbook over here. Check it out, right? The link is in the chat. SocGen.com website. Okay. Yeah. So you don't need a separate trading account. Just a normal trading account would do. All right. You can buy this leverage product as well. All right. And one more question. I think Jamie, right? Jamie Choy, DLCs are for short term. How come half a year? Well, that was just an example, right? So of course it's more of a short term trading instrument, right? You want the stock to move fast and capture that upside, the returns, right? But even if you hold it for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, right? There's no time decay. Right? There's no expiry as well. I mean, there's an expiry date just for the sake of it being there, right? As per SGX regulation, there's an expiry date, but it doesn't affect the price, right? So it's just 5x the performance. So even if you hold it for 6 months, if the price keep on going up for 6 months, that is where your returns will be compounded, right? In a very nice trending market like ST engineering. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, Jia Yi, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Joey. So I think that's for the DLC. Let me cover the next stock. I think just now I saw this stock. Just give me a sec. Let me pull out my screen. Okay, I think Boustead. I think someone was asking, James, hopefully you're still here. Please share about Boustead. No, I bought at 2.30 on 26 May. So 26 May. So when it's actually going down, you bought it around the support of 2.30. And the stock has since slid to 2.2. Should I exit at what price to cut costs or hold on for a rebound? So I think for this counter, it's clearly that we can see. Just give me a second. All right. Okay. So I think for Boustead, I think previously we covered on this stock. Overall, the long term and the 100 days and 200 days has been all pointing out, have been showing strength. It's just that the 20 days moving average at times might start to flatten, show more strength. But overall, as long as the 100 days and 200 days are pointing up, the long-term wise is still showing a lot of strength. But in terms of the short-term wise, for Boustead, where could be a support or where could be a resistance level? I think previously we identified that for Boustead, 260 was a resistance level. Reason why? We can see that in start of May, it came close to the 260, not able to break above, came back down to the 230 level, which is a support, went back up to the 260, and just recently, it actually showed more weakness. So I would say near the 260 level, you can see that there's sellers are taking control whenever prices moved close to this level. And 230, which was previously a resistance level, afterwards, just recently on 28 April, it turned into a new support level, and afterwards, prices tested this level just a few times. But just yesterday, or actually not yesterday, sorry, on 26 May, just a few days back, we can see that I believe earnings actually came out. They reported, I think, quite a decent earning, but after they mentioned that there's a portion of their company, their segment that foresee not to be doing well due to the Iran war and the global geopolitical tension. That's why I think afterwards, prices actually came back down. But I think it's good thing that for James, saw that you bought it at 230. It means that you actually identified that prices, the support level is actually near that 230 level. So when you enter near that 230 level, your risk to reward is much better. And you can see that 230 was a support previously, but just yesterday it wasn't able to stay above that 230 level. So when prices break below this 230, it could be a sign that there might be more selling pressure coming in, and with the 1GT bearish signal, it even add on to the confirmation that there's actually more selling pressure. So if prices break below this 230, which it was previously able to stay above, where could be the next support level? I think the next support I previously identified that it actually is near the $2 level, which is also a psychological level. So you can see that previously $2 level, it actually came to test this level previously. Afterwards, broke above that $2 and after that show more strength. So overall, this counter, I would say, is still showing strength, but it's just that for the short term wise, it's a bit of weakness. And when you enter near that 230, I think for James, I think to answer your question on whether to exit, at what price, to cut costs, and or to hold on for rebound, I think when you enter near the 230 level, which is near a support level, where is actually your stop loss plan in mind? What is the risk that you want to take, or where is actually your target price, and where's your stop loss price, and how's your risk to reward? I think all these are covered during Joey's 1GT webinar. So I think if you are interested in to find out more about all this, you can attend the free 1GT webinar. Maybe the team can attach the link in the chat. So I'll say currently it's kind of kept under this 230. I think now it's kind of like a resistance. The support might be near that $2. But prices are coming close to that 230. If prices are not able to break above, maybe if you want, you can let go, wait for prices to break above that 230 again, stabilize above that 230, and start to show more strength before you enter. Because we don't want like what happened just now, I think, for Bumitama. I think when prices break below this 230 or like a support level and it start to show more weakness, you can see that prices might continue to show more weakness. Afterwards, go down maybe to that $2 support. Maybe by then your mindset will be different. You'll be thinking of whether by then you should be cutting loss at a larger loss, or maybe whether you want to average down, which is what we don't really recommend to do. So I would say when you hit your stop loss plan, or make sure you have a stop loss plan in mind whenever you enter into a counter, and you hit your stop loss plan, maybe 224 or 225, when you hit your stop loss plan, maybe best is to actually get out first, wait for price to stabilize, start to show more strength, then you re-enter for this counter. Yep. So I think hopefully that answers your questions for Boustead. If not, I'll pass on my time to Z to cover her next stop.
All right, thanks, Jia. Okay, so let me share my screen right over here. And I think the next stock, right, that I'll be covering, I think a few of you guys were asking about it, which is the banks. Let me find where's the comment. Sorry, there's too many comments here. Okay, I think Geneva was also asking about DBS, right? Bought DBS at 42, current price is 62. Can I still accumulate or wait for a pullback, right? I think Ian is also asking about DBS, right? Thoughts on DBS per 1GT on resistance level, support level, as last week surged to a new all-time high 62.63. Though some pullback this week, accumulate for more dividends or take some profits. Average cost price 11.76. So if you guys don't know, Ian have been joining us for many of our sessions, right? And every single time when Ian talk about his comments or his stocks, right, I realized, wow, Ian, your average cost price always very low. I think you have bought many years back and you have been holding on. So congrats to you, right? Congrats to you, because definitely sitting on a lot of profits, and as well as collecting dividends for so many years, right? Okay, so let's take a look at DBS together. Maybe I hide the comments first. Okay, so for DBS, I mean, of course, you guys can see it is a very strong uptrending stock, in fact. And I think the last week or so, I think Joey has also done a YouTube video, right, talking about the 3 banks. If you guys have not watched, you guys can go and watch the YouTube videos done by Joey as well. I think he analyzed all 3 banks individually, DBS, OCBC, and UOB, right? And I think all 3 of them have different characteristics, right, whereby depending on what kind of traders or risk appetite you are, and you know what are some of the stock, right, which 3 of them out of 3, which one you tend to gear towards more. But out of all 3, I think so far in terms of the bank in Singapore, all looking not too bad, right? Not too bad. And DBS is also one of them, and is the most expensive one out of all 3, right? So definitely agree with you guys. As you guys can see, last week it really reached all-time high, right? 62.63 right over here on 25th of May. And today, as you can see, DBS is trading at about 62.42. right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys who are holding on to DBS, you guys might be thinking, wow, the price already so high. Can I, should I take profits? Should I buy more? You know, especially maybe for those who do not have position, and you see that prices have been going up, but then you're thinking about, wow, should I buy now, right? I think that those are all very valid questions, right? So first thing first, I mean, of course, if you think about buying DBS, I think that is the right direction. Why? Because uptrend, number one, back to basics, uptrend, everything is very strong. Short term, long term, all is strong, right? Secondly, we see that there is 1 GT bullish signal that is actually still playing out. There's no bearish signal yet, right? Price went up, and now it seems like it is actually testing, I would say, the immediate resistance, right? I think our immediate resistance, right, we have drawn it somewhere around this $63 right over here, right? So I would say that right now, over the past week, price, it is very near to a resistance. So when we think about buying, right, again, back to the 1GD framework that we always talk about, we don't want to buy near resistance. You want to buy near support. Why? Like what Jia mentioned earlier on, it is about the risk to reward ratio, right? Because if you buy near resistance, sometimes typically what happens near resistance is selling pressure come in, right? And push price back down. Then you buy near resistance really, sometimes what happens is typically, when we hear clients, sometimes they will say that, wow, I buy already, immediately the price starts to pull back or starts to drop, right? Why? Because potentially it could be buying near a resistance rather than a support. So that is the reason why we want to locate the support and buy near support instead of resistance. Okay, make sense? Okay. So then now let's take a look at this in terms of support levels, right? Just now we talked about resistance, about 63, right? About 63, right? So support level, as you can see, a very clear one. I think I've drawn right over here is about $58, right? $58. You can see that previously at the start of the year, somewhere in January, February, early Feb, here, price tested, right? Here, price tested this $58, unable to break above it, attempted to, but did not manage to hold firmly above it. Selling pressure starts to come in near this resistance zone, and prices pull back once again. Right, we got 1GD bearish signal, 20 days moving average started to point down, prices pull back about, let's see, about 8.5%, right, close to 9%, towards this support at about 53, right? I would say that 53 previously, this was actually again, same thing, resistance turned to become a support, right? Resistance turned to become a support. So 53, I would say, will be the next support level, right? The next support level. So then this 58 is the immediate support level at this point in time, right? Based on the current price, right? So support level, as you can see, 53 become 58. So essentially support level become higher, right? And when we think about uptrend, when we find higher supports along the way, essentially it's a good thing because it reaffirms us that buyers are willing to buy at higher prices. Agree? Why? When people are willing to buy at higher prices, you get new higher support. So that gives us indication that the bullishness is there, right? Buying interest is there. Right, and on top of that, we know that the moving averages, all 3 of them are actually heading up, right? So this 58, I would say, is the support. But of course, now you tell me, hey, price at 62, support at 58, a bit far, right? Yeah, I also agree, it is a bit far, right? So if I were to zoom in and take a look at it, perhaps around, I think maybe this $60, that could be a psychological support to actually take note as well, right? You can see these 3 days, it was kind of going sideways. $60, right? I think here, there could be one support, right? And if I were to zoom in even closer, maybe this $60 have even increased to about this 61 here, where we started to see buying interest, right? This red candlestick, it shows some profit taking, right? It shows some bearishness on this day, right? But because of the long, not exactly long, but we have a lower shadow, right? And the lower shadow tells us that during the trading session, buyers came in to buy, scoop the prices up, and push it up, right? That essentially what it means by a lower shadow, right? Telling us that there is buying interest. The longer the lower shadow, the stronger the buying interest, right? This one is not very, very long, right? But still, there is buying interest present. Right, so as you can see, if you were to zoom in closer, right, essentially the support have risen 53, 58, 60, 61, right? So I think definitely still looking very bullish for DBS, right? But at this point in time, 62, I mean, of course, just now we have established, right, here is very near to the resistance, right? It's near to the resistance. So potentially, I would say the very immediate support level that perhaps one of us, I mean, we could potentially take note, right? Especially for those of you who are thinking about accumulating, think about adding on to your position, thinking about getting into a position, you want to buy near support level, potentially this is where, this zone could be where you can set some alerts as well, right? In terms of a potential buy zone. And the thing is that when we look at DBS, you can see that DBS have actually been surging all the way up. Not much of a, consolidation period, right? So I think some of you guys are also telling me, and based on Geneva, right, wait for a pullback, right? Ian also pullback. The word is pullback, right? So if we actually have a pullback, right, actually, in fact, I think that will actually be healthy as well, because you can see that over the past 1 month, right, prices have just been surging, not much of a consolidation. If there's actually a consolidation happening and continue to hold above this 61 support, right, I think that would be even stronger. And if prices were to break above this 63, right, that would actually make the uptrend even more sustainable, right? And if you were to do that, you see, project it up, and the next upside target, what are we looking towards? Potentially towards the next level at around 65, which 65 is also a psychological level, right? Agree? So I think in terms of pulling back, waiting for a pullback towards a support somewhere near the 61, that support zone, right? I think that could be where a potential price alert could be set for, accumulation on dips, right? Especially so when short-term, long-term uptrend or very much intact and all is actually pointing up to 1GT bullish signal is actually also playing up. Okay, so you can see that this is a very nice uptrending stock, right? So I think adding on to what Joey actually talked about earlier on, right, regarding the DLC, right? For DBS, by the way, just to share with you guys, right, DBS also got DLC. Maybe let me just share my screen over here, okay? Wait, let me just show you guys what does it look like on the DLC website. Okay, can you guys see this DLC website? So basically, I think same thing like what Joey mentioned earlier on in terms of DLC. You can actually go and see, right? So Singapore stocks so how do I get there, right? Underlying, you can see all these are the underlying, and DBS is actually also one of them, right? And Joey just now say, look at the star one, right? Because the star one tells you what? It tells you which one is the most sensitive one. So of course, there's long and short but why do you want to short when just now the trend we saw DBS and all the banks all are going up, right? When it's going up, of course you don't want to short, you want to be on the right side whereby you are long, right? So when we take a look at this, there is a DLC, which is this specific code, right? I mean, you guys can also take a look at the website, go into the website, take a look at this, right? So you can see that right now, this DLC is priced at about $2.13, right? $2.13. But whereas, on the other hand, just now when we look at DBS stock price, how much is it? It's about $62, right? $62. I mean, of course, if you want to have exposure to DBS, right, but yet you don't want to use up too much of your capital, this is also one of the way that you can actually do it, right? Especially with the leverage factor in place, the 5 times leverage factor. So I think just now, someone was also asking, right, about a question about the short term, right, DLC short term, right? So even if that being said, right, you say we look at like maybe 1 month lah, 1 month, right? You can see that 1 month, in a span of 1 month, DBS actually went up about 9%, right? You can see 9.13. But whereas for this DLC, because of the leverage factor and because of the compounding effect, right, you can see that it went up by 58%, right? Even though we don't talk about 6 months, we talk about 1 month. Maybe let's see 5 days. Maybe I see 5 day. 5 day DBS went up about 1%. This DLC went up 6%, right? So you can see that because of this leverage factor, right, and also because of the compounding effect, right, you may get more, right, with this more returns with this DLC, right? But of course, I mean, that being said, the percentage movement, right, like what Joey mentioned earlier on, if it goes up by 2% for the underlying, which is DBS, this DLC will go up by you times 5, which is 10% lah, right? Which is 10%. Okay, so the thing is that is talking about gains, right? Gains can be magnified, but I also of course need to highlight to you guys the risk lah, because it is a leverage factor. Then of course your losses can be similarly being magnified as well, right? So I think there's also one question. Wait, let me see. Where is the most recent question about DLC? This one, right? This one whereby they said if the share price goes down by 20%, will the DLC be lost completely based on the 5 time? Like how to know how it be used to maximize return, well, apart from knowing the risk. Maybe Joey, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, sure. I think very good question. I think that's a kind of question people ask as well. So based on the 5x leverage, right? So let's say if it goes up by 10%, underlying 10 times 5, DLC will go up by about 50%, right? So on the other end, let's assume that if the price would drop by 10%, right? So 10 times 5, same thing, DLC, higher return in terms of the downside, you'll be down by 50%. Okay, but if the price were to go down by 20%, so if you look at it, 20 times 5 is 100%. So yeah, by right, it should be 0. But what happens is that for DLCs, all right, there's what we call this feature called a stop loss event. Stop loss event, kind of like an airbag feature. If you to fall below a certain amount, that's where if the underlying move too much down, all right, or against the let's say if it's a long DLC, right, and it goes all the way down by a certain amount, certain threshold in the wrong direction, that's where the DLC can be like terminated, and I think investors will also receive what we call like a residual cash amount lah. All right, so definitely there's both ways lah. It's what we call a double-edged sword. If it goes up in a direction, your gains will be magnified. If it goes the other way around, of course, your losses can be magnified as well similarly. Right, so do take note of the risk lah. But is whereby if you trade DLC, don't go and anyhow whack and buy so much. You can take a small position. I mean, it's a short-term trading instrument. It's the price is, you can see, it's just a fraction of the underlying stock. All right, so that just gives you a bit more flexibility lah, more flexibility. All right, yeah. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, so basically the DLC, I mean, you guys can go and explore the website. I believe they have like more than 200 plus DLC exposure to different range of underlying like what Joey mentioned, Singapore, Hong Kong, US. Yeah. So those are the DLCs, right, whereby you can actually gain leverage exposure to those underlying stocks that you would like, whereby you can use a smaller capital to maximize your returns. But same thing, like we always say, when you look at the underlying chart, make sure to have a trading plan in place as well, so that you know your target, you know your entry, you know your stop loss, and then you can actually apply that to the DLCs also. Okay, but always refer back to the underlying, because at the end of the day, it is the underlying, it tracks the underlying times 5 up, times 5 down. Okay, so yeah, I think that would be for DBS. I hope that gives you guys. Wait, let me just change it back very quickly to my chart right over here. Can you guys see my chart?
Yep,
yeah, right over here. Okay, yeah, so I hope this gives you some levels to take note of in terms of DBS, right? So right now, I mean, same thing, approaching resistance. Perhaps it will be better to have a risk to reward ratio, and also better to actually get in near the support zone rather than a resistance zone. But I mean, what I hope to see for DBS would be perhaps some sort of consolidation first before it break even higher, so that it will be even more sustainable in terms of the longer term uptrend. Okay, so that will be for DBS. I think I'll pass my time back over to probably Joey, right, to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much. So good one on DBS. So take note, guys. I think not too bad too. 1 GT bullish signal started to push up. It looks good. All right, maybe a bit of consolidation would help. All right, let it be a bit more sustainable, healthier uptrend. All right, and we talk about DLC as well. So hope you guys are a bit clearer lah. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, and that would be, I think a lot of you were asking about this stock. This stock is called CNMC Goldmine. I think let me pull out the comments. Excuse me. Okay, so YL4800 has CNMC at $1.33. So now it came down a bit. It's $1.22, right? Should I hold till the gold price recover? So you have it, right? Should you hold? Is it going lower? We'll find out in a bit. Right, CNMC Goldmine. Let's see. Joel Ng, hope you're still here. Please share about CNMC Goldmine. Is it considered a good entry? Okay, so once previously you have already. Right now, Joel don't have, but thinking to get in. Right, is it time to get in? Alex, CNMC Goldmine bought most recent batch at 138. Wow, so you probably buy over the past 1 month, 2 months lah. Average cost 170. Is there any chance of recovery? So same thing, you bought it, it came down, now it's 122. Let's go ahead to find out in a bit. Okay, let's see any more CNMC. Okay, let's see. I think quite a few other. If I'm not wrong, got like 2 or 3 more on CNMC. This one, Alex. Average cost, there room for recovery. Oh, that's Alex, same one, right? Okay, good. Dave, right? Bought CNMC at 102. Should I hold as long term still bullish? 102. So I think Dave, you probably got in like way like in January or December last year, is it? So you see, it went all the way up and then started to come all the way down. All right, so wasted. Okay, later I'll talk more about it. Right, so you can see Dave, you got in a bit. I mean, some of them got in like 130 something, 150 something, but yours was way earlier. You went all the way up. Perhaps you did not get out, right? So it came down. Okay, okay. Let's take a look at CNMC right now. So now, before I talk about CNMC, guys, maybe you guys can help me out, like help Dave and help the rest of our audience over here out. What do you think about? What do you guys think about CNMC Goldmine right now? Like, I mean, in terms of the direction lah. Or is it more up or more down? U for up, D for down. Type in the chat, guys. Let me know. What do you guys think about CNMC Goldmine? Is it more up or is it more down? Right, in terms of the direction, in terms of the trend. All right, more up or more down? All right, let's take a look at what people are saying. Okay, Ken. So it's like a survey, a poll. Okay, okay. Alex say down. Willie down. ABC down. Niham down. All right, Jen down. Lawrence down. Okay, so most of you are saying pretty down, getting bearish. All right, Brandon down. All right, okay, so mostly down, right? So now I say one Dave, you can see it's what most people are saying, right? But I think most of you are saying that because, like, quite clearly, guys, I've turned on the 1 GT Pro indicator, all right? And once I turn it off, it's like that lah. But once I turn it on, I mean, if you still say up, then I really don't know what to say lah. I mean, you can see that it's been down, not yesterday or last week. It's not like since like March, really we got the first 1 GT bearish signal. Right? If you tell me in January is up, February is up, I say correct, no problem. Then we got 1, 2, 3, all the way up. But so I think maybe some of you bought earlier, very good entry price, but we got a bearish signal when it was about 160, right? And I think Dave, you did not get out, right? So you kind of held it all the way down. So by right, we would have the plan now. I think it's very important, guys, to have a plan. If you were to get in, if you see a bearish signal like here as well, same thing, right? Previously, you got a bullish signal coming in. That was like July last year, right? Another bullish signal. All right, then rest for a while. The bullish signal, all right? You see this, then you get out lah. How many percent would that be? All right, this one another 152%. Right, this one 50%. All right, so when we see a bearish signal, first of all, we don't want to rush to get it, right? We also don't want to just anyhow just go and buy, right? Because there's some selling coming back. Okay, especially if the green 20 days moving average line have turned down. All right, here also turn down. Right, so you rush to get in for what? You get in there, you get stuck. Right, if you already have it, you bought already, right? You rode the upside, you saw bullish signals, you all the way up, right? You got in over here, all the way up. Great, but you can only profit if you know when to get out, if you protect the profits, right? You don't want to come all the way down and your profits become smaller until you become like no more, right? So important to know when to get out, especially if you are sitting on some decent profits, 50%, 100 over percent, right? I think it's good to know when to get out and don't need to rush to get back in after you get out. You see what I'm saying so far? All right, Ken? Okay, so for those of you who have got in, so of course, same thing, right? So I think different for CNMC Goldmine a little bit different. Like some get in previously, never get out. Some got in when it came down because cheaper, right? You thought very good, 140, go and buy. 130, go and buy. Now become 122. All right. But I think all of you can agree that it is slightly more down. Why? Because we got not one, we got two 1 GT bearish signal. And if you look at the green line, it has been pointing down since like March. Down, down. I think now, if I could just maybe hide the signal a little bit. I think the green line is still pointing down, correct? So short-term trend still down, unfortunately, right? From March until now, it has been gently sloping down. We're still not out of the woods, I would say, in terms of CNMC Goldmine, okay? And you can see that why did we even have this bearish, the second 1 GT bearish signal actually popping out? Well, I could turn on this, powerful feature called the horizontal support and resistance. So you see, when I turn it on, can you see this support level kind of popped up right over here? We actually went below this horizontal support, thereby, in March rebounded, and we went below it. So that triggered that second 1 GT bearish signal, which is not so good, not so good, because as I said, this was, so let me just draw it for you. You can see right over here. All right. So I can draw it myself, but in terms of this 1 GT Pro indicator, I can turn it on in a matter of seconds to see where are the key support and resistance. So you can see we kind of like broke down the support. That triggered yesterday. Oh yeah, yesterday, right? That triggered the bearish signal yesterday. All right. And I think this support level will be around that 125, maybe 126, 125 level. That was where we rebounded, and then we are still below it. Right? So my take is very simple. I would say that if we stay below that 125, 126, I think, just want to be a bit more careful, right? And the next support level would be at $1.20. You can see that was where we were. We got a bullish signal here as well. All right. Went down, retested this psychological support right over here. And we are right now around the 122. Okay. So don't need to, okay, so basically don't need to rush to get in, right? We got two bearish signals, right? We are 122, okay? If, I'm not saying it will happen now, okay? But if the 120 support level were to break down, all right, then unfortunately, guys, we may potentially head down to the next support, and that could be anywhere from $1 to 90 to 95 cents, right? So that was where we were from October all the way to December. So don't need to rush. I mean, if you're just getting in because it's cheap, then I mean, that's not a plan now, right? So we get in when we see signs of reversal. Like, for example, let's say, it goes down and down and down, and then we consolidate, and then starts to push back up, and then we see this bullish signal over here. All right, you take and then you paste over here or something. Let's say it come out over here or over here, I don't know where, but let's say it comes out, and then the green line, there was like going down, 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 start to, point back up, right? In terms of the moving averages, right? In terms of the moving averages, starts to point back up, and we get a bullish signal popping out right over here, something like this, then I would say that's a good opportunity to think about getting in. At least we got confirmations of that reversal, right? But if you ask me now, I left C, right C, up C, down C, so like still a bit weak, right? And just get the 120 with the breakdown, Make sense, right? So don't need to rush to get in. So I think sometimes it's very important, guys, to know when not to get in. All right, you only want to get in when you get confirmations, when you get what we call, signals, bullish signals, obviously, plus other confirmations that we seek as well. So I think, as I say, today I don't have time to cover everything, but we do have a 7-step checklist, all right? 7-step checklist that kind of like break it all down as to what we're looking for. If we get 4 out of 7 in this checklist, then it's what we call high conviction trade setup. That's where I would say it is it's better to get in then. But now you ask me get in, I also don't know for what. Oh, makes sense, right? Exactly, right? SG boy, one, the patience is a virtue. Exactly. So sometimes you can just tell yourself, hey, this one don't need to get in, right? Some don't need, some wait first, some put in the watch list, this one see how first, right? This one okay, some get ready. Something like that, right? Don't need to everything also must get in, man. Make sense? Right, Ken? So attend the free webinar, guys, next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. The link is right in the chat. That's where I can break it a bit down for you a bit more. Okay, Ken? So let me pass on the mic to Jia Yi to cover the next Singapore stock. Okay?
All right, thank you, Joey, for covering CNMC Goldmine. I think the next stock that we're covering on will be this counter iFast. I think some of you guys were asking about iFast. Let me just pull it out for you guys. I think DK, good morning. Hopefully you're still here. Your views on iFast, interested in buying. So it looks like DK is planning to buy iFast. I think some Kaki, hi Joey, could you analyze iFast, have some position since $9? So I think looks like looking to either take profit or is it to hold on. I think someone else asking about iFast as well, bought at 9.08 EO. And I think Lam asking about iFast. Any bullish 1GT recently, not sure to hold or take profit. I think Ho was asking about please analyze iFast as well. Looks like some of you guys are looking at entering for iFast, or some of you guys are looking to take profit for iFast. So let us zoom into iFast. How is this counter like? I would say for iFast previously, it was kind of showing a bit of weakness back in 2025. I think previously it was kept under the 850. And I mean, if you zoom in back to last year, August, actually it broke above the 850 back in August 2025. Afterwards, kind of showed a bit of strength, went up to that $10, came down to 850 to test quite a few times, went up to $10 again. Just in January this year, actually it managed to break above these $10 just for a short period of time, maybe for 1 month. Then afterwards, there was a 1GT bearish signal, start to show a bit of weakness, come back down to the 850 again, that's that $10. So if we were to look at the chart wise, I mean $11 is actually the all-time high, which I would say is actually kind of like a key resistance that we actually want to break above this level to show more strength. But I would say for the past maybe August, since last year August to May, that's actually about 8 months. It has been trading kind of sideways. Previously started to show a bit of strength, but has been trading sideways from the 850 to that $10. Except for that 1 month, it has been trading around this range, 850 to $10. So I would say you can see that even the 20 days moving average, the 100 days and the 200 days. We look at the red and the blue line. It's actually starting to flatten and trade a bit of sideways, or even start to show a bit of weakness as well. Previously, when we look at a trend, it's showing a bit of strength, going up, it's still okay. But now, if you look at it near-term wise, it seems like the trend wise is kind of showing a bit of sideways trend. It's kind of trading around the 850 to actually that $10 range. So for you guys, some of you guys actually entered near that $9, which actually near this trading range now. It's actually near the price currently at 916. So if you're looking for those who are actually holding for iFast, if you already have some counters for this, some position for this iFast, if it goes back near to that $10, maybe if you want, you can consider to take some profit near this $10. Or if prices break above these $10, that could be a sign that there might be more upside towards the 11 or even higher than 11. But I would say for now, currently, it's kind of showing a bit of sideways consolidation. Those who are looking to enter, if you want, 850 might be a support level that you can consider to enter and let go near the $10. But I believe that actually there's more counters. There's like AEM or other counters. They have more upside and more strength that you want to ride the waves up. I'll say for iFast currently still trading a bit of sideways, 850 to $10. If you are looking to take profit, maybe $10 might be a resistance that you want to let go some positions before it show more upside. Or if not, if you want, you can wait like what we just now mentioned, have some patience. If it breaks above that $10, you can set alert so that you'll be notified when it breaks above that $10. So maybe about that 10.10, when prices break above that 10.10, you'll be notified to monitor for this counter. So by then there might be more strength into this counter, more buyers interest, and you can ride the wave. But I'll say for now, iFast still a bit of sideways, $8.50 to $10. That's the range lah. Wait for more confirmation, more upsides before you enter. And for those who have positions in this counter, maybe around at $10, you can consider to let go some of it, or even to secure your profit first. Then afterwards, when there's more strength in this counter, then you re-enter. Yeah, I think that's a quick one for iFast. If not, I'll pass on my time to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Jia. I think I saw some comments whereby you guys are actually asking about some stocks that we already covered earlier on just now, right? So maybe I will just do a very quick recap, right, as to what some of the stocks that we have covered. And not to worry, after this live show, you will be able to see the replay, right? You can pause, you can play, you can stop on Joey's YouTube channel. Okay, so I think Joey started off with the market update, right, with the SPX, S&P 500 index, followed by the Singapore market, which is STI, right? And the very first stock that you covered today was Addvalue Tech. And then Jia Yi actually covered Yangzijiang Shipbuilding, and the third stock that I covered today was Geo Energy, right? Followed by Singtel, Wilmar, Bumitama, then ST Engineering being the seventh stock, followed by Boustead, and then I covered DBS, and Joey covered CNMC Goldmine, and Jia Yi just covered iFast. Okay, so that would be the 12th stock, right? Now will be the 12th stock, and the stock that I will be covering now would be this stock called CSE Global, right? CSE Global, and I think it is by Rekha, right? Rekha, I hope you are still here. Hi team, can touch on CSE Global, bought at 160, and it went downstream from 191 to 1.71 now. Whether to hold or to sell? Okay, good question, right? Good question. But first thing first, right? When you guys see this chart together with me, right? Maybe you guys are on your own trading view as well. Do you guys agree with me that this is a very beautiful chart? Because to me, I think this chart looks very nice, very sweet, right? Why? Because it goes up, sideways, go up, right? So nice in terms of the trend, right? It's a very strong uptrending stock, in fact, since 2025, when we started to see all three moving averages pointing up, right? And it is actually still going up. I mean, of course, there are periods whereby the 20 days moving average, you still see that, there are periods of consolidation. But, but I think nothing wrong with that, right? There are periods of consolidation coming down, but you see, now it's going back up. And in fact, for this, we have how many? I see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal that is actually still playing out. And by the way, I think for those of you who are still here with us, about 260 of you guys, I mean, there are a lot of clients who are here with us, right? I believe you guys have also received the note by Joey, I think last Friday on CSE Global as well, right? But for those of you who are not a client and you like to receive, trading ideas like these for free at absolutely no additional cost, by WhatsApp on a daily basis, I think you guys can actually, click on the link in the chat lah. I think either Joey or Jia Yi put the link in the chat already. If you guys are keen, feel free to click on it and explore the page lah. Okay, so back to CSE Global, right? CSE Global uptrend. Everybody agree, definitely intact lah. Nothing wrong with the trend, right? Very beautiful uptrending stock. Then now the thing is that the price have gone up quite a bit, right? Price have gone up quite a bit. I'm sure some of you guys who are here maybe holding on to a stock like Rekha, thinking about whether to sell or not, right? But maybe some of you guys here are thinking about buying in because maybe you have missed out on the opportunity, right? Since the very first 1GT bullish signal came out. And by the way, let me just check. From this very first bullish signal to where we are at right now, oh, this is 130%. 130% and no bearish signal yet, right? So it is still playing out, right? It's still playing out. So now the thing is that maybe some of you guys are thinking, then like that, should I get in? Is it too high to actually get in? Price last time was about 60 cents. What? Now is more than doubled, right? Then how, right? Good question. All these are very valid and good question, right? But the thing is that for me, as you can tell from the last few stocks that we have analyzed, we always go back to the basics, right? And I think you guys will know what I want to say lah, right? Maybe the first thing is we need to look at where's the support, where's the resistance, right? I mean, the trend, I already talked about it, right? Beautiful uptrend, right? So here, first thing first, we always look for the very low-lying fruits, something that is very simple for everybody to actually know where the resistance is. So I think this one, very clear, right? I think majority of you guys here would agree that perhaps the resistance, some of you guys might put at 180, some of you guys might put at 190. I think both are actually valid. There is nothing wrong with that. Why? Because resistance, when we talk about it, it is not a specific point. It is always a zone, right? So I would say that sometimes 180, 190, even maybe 175, 176, right here, right? I think that would be a valid resistance because that was where seller came back, right? And Rekha, like what you mentioned, right? It went downstream from 1.91. I believe you're talking about this day, right? This very red candlestick day, 1.91 to where you are at now, which is 1.71, right? So selling pressure, yes, I agree. Indeed, it came back right here near 180, 190 when it is approaching 180 over the past couple of days. You can see price actually also started to pull back, right? Price also started to pull back. So this, I believe all of us here will agree that this would be a very clear resistance zone, right? Then moving on, support, right? Support. What about supports? When we take a look at the chart, I mean, you don't have to go too far back, right? Maybe 1 year, maybe to June. That will be more than sufficient, right? Actually, don't even need so long. Maybe like that. I think like that is more than sufficient for me to tell the trend, right? And you can see that here to here, there was a period of consolidation, right? About $1.15 to about $1.40, right? You can see that prices was actually kind of like consolidating within this range, $1.15 to $1.40. And these levels, as you can see, is being tested not one time, but multiple times. And in fact, you can see bearish candlestick. Then here bullish candlestick, right? So when a level is being tested multiple times, right, that is where you want to give it a bit more weight, right? So you get 115, it is actually a support, right? 140, I would say it was a resistance when it was consolidating. But subsequently, we get a 1 GT bullish signal again. And I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth consecutive one. It came out and it broke out of this consolidation range, which is it broke out this 140, turning it from a resistance to become a support level. A new higher support level, right? From 115 to become 140, right? And now price is at 1.72, right? And these levels are, these lines, right? This green line, red line is the one that we can draw ourselves, right? I just click onto trading view. I can own self draw my lines right over here. If I want to draw my line right here also can, right? So the thing is that when we take a look at all these support and resistance, right? As prices play out, this level will also move, right? I mean, you can see previously 140, right? But as the price continue to actually play out, right? Can you see that? I think right over here, right? 150, there's some sort of support as well. Can you see? Right over here, when prices actually go to 1.91, right? Selling pressure came in, profit taking happened, push price all the way back down. And I think right here, you can see buying interest started to return. And prices managed to hold above this 150. So I would say essentially the support from 140 have risen to about $1.50, right? And that means that buyers are willing to buy at higher prices at about $1.50. Right, so I would say immediate support right now would be perhaps around this 150. Not saying that 140 is not valid, 150 not valid. All these are previous valid support, I agree. But immediate support now, I think about 150, right? About 150 right over here, right? So we know that here to here, resistance zone. Here to here, would that then be our potential support zone? Will you agree? Because now our new support is being found near 150, right? So I know my support zone, I know my resistance zone, right? Then comes the question, depending on which camp are you at? Are you holding on to a stock or do you not have the stock yet? You want to get into a position. Then that is where you make use of such information, right? Of the support and resistance zone. Because for example, for Rekha, you mentioned you bought about $1.60. Okay, that's still pretty close to the 150 support zone, right? But I mean, of course, it will be better if it is near like 1.55, 1.53, 1.52, nearer to the 150, right? But no problem, right? You're still in a position right now and you are still sitting on some small profits, right? 1.72, 1.71, right? And then where can you potentially take some profits, right? Remember, we take profits near resistance zone, which is around 180, 190. I think nothing wrong. Like if prices were to rebound back up to this level, nothing wrong to take profits, right? Because previously we also start to see sellers taking profits and push price back down, right? That's perfectly fine based on the 1GD framework. Nothing wrong to take profits near resistance, but because of this stock that is still pretty strong, do you agree that short term is strong, long term is strong? We got 4 1GT bullish signal that is still playing out. Sometimes what we would usually advise is also perhaps when price approach the 180, 190 resistance, you may want to consider maybe to take half position profits, 1/3 position profits. If you want to take full, also can. Nobody's stopping you, right? If you want to take full position, also okay. But if you take 1/3, half, I think that is perfectly fine as well to lock in some partial profits, to help you to manage your emotions, because I think you'll also be a bit happier if you realize the profit, put the money into your pocket, right? And if prices break above this 190 and go up higher, then you won't be saying like, I shouldn't have sell too early, right? You sell all your positions at 180 really, and then it go up even higher, right? Because essentially the trend at this point in time, it still looks good. It still looks strong, right? So those are for those of you guys who are holding on to this position like car. But what about those of you who are not holding on to this position? You are thinking about maybe buying it, right? Or maybe even thinking about accumulating your positions, right? That is where we look towards the potential support zone near 150 to about 160. I think this would be a zone whereby you can set some alert, right? You can set some alert. And I think for Redcar, right, one thing that maybe you might want to try, I'm not too sure if you're already a client of Joey or you already have access to this indicator. But by the way, for those of you who are still here with us, you guys want to see the indicator yourself, same like how I see turn on, turn off, right? I think Joey actually has a trial version, right? I think there's this trial, this light indicator, right? This light indicator whereby, of course, you don't have all these more advanced features like trailing support, position sizing, but the light indicator, what you can see is you can also see the buy and sell signal yourself. Like, you turn on and you turn off, right? You turn off, all these will be gone, right? And you turn on, you can also see the 1GT bullish and bearish signal on your own. Same thing like what we actually see on our screen, right? So I believe you can actually test drive, right, the light indicator free for 14 days. And you can see the signal yourself, right? So if there is a 1GT bearish signal that comes out, then perhaps if you're still sitting on profits, right, then that is maybe where you also want to think about locking in your profits, protecting your profits, right? So perhaps that is something that could help you with your decision as well, right? And for those of you here who also want to give it a go, right, to see how this indicator can actually add value to you, feel free to actually test drive the indicator. And best is if you can also attend the webinar, right? So hand in hand, you test drive the indicator, then you also go and attend the webinar, you get the best of both worlds because you also understand the strategy. Okay, so that would be for CSE Global. I hope that helps Redcar, and also for those of you here who are holding on to CSE or maybe thinking about buying CSE. Okay, so with that, I think I've talked a bit too much. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go one final round today. I think there's one more round. I think, guys, very, very sorry we cannot cover all your stocks on a quick count. I think we have like more than 60 over stocks that were asked, right? And I think right now we have covered about a total of 12 stocks. Let's just do one more round, right? One more round. Okay, Z, Jai, can we do one more round? All right, quickly. Then after that, we have the bonus stock at the end. And maybe your stock is not covered because it could be the bonus stock at the end, the good one that we want to mention. So we will not like double cover it again. So stay all the way to the end if you don't know what are the 3 bonus stocks that we have in our watch list for potentially more upside. Okay. And I think Z mentioned very quickly as well just now regarding the one good trend light indicator. So we're using the pro version where it's a bit more advanced, more, more boxes, a bit more, more stuff that we can turn on, like the trailing support and stuff. So we do have a light version. It's a simpler version. You turn on the bullish and bearish signals plus the moving averages to gauge the trend in the long, short term as well. All right. Link is right in the chat. Test drive it for 14 days free. All right. And see if it helps you not just to get in, but also to get out. All right. When the time comes. All right. Don't get out too early also. You can go up some more while you get out, right? So let it ride all the way until cannot already, right? And the bearish signal come out. Then you get out. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, Ken. So link is right in the chat to test drive it. And of course, attend a free webinar to find out a bit more as we break it all down for you in terms of the 7-step checklist. Okay, now let's move on to the next stock I talked about, and that would be Keppel, right? Lihan, I hope you're still over here. Keppel, you bought an average price of $9.14, right? $9.14. So I think you bought over, not too bad there. You bought over here $9.14. So maybe in October last year you bought, right? The price retraced a bit at $11. Not a bit, quite a lot, right? From $13 all the way down already, right? So actually retraced quite a lot, right? Okay, can still accumulate, right? Quite a bit. So you got in, but now it came back down. It was like about $13, but now become $10.90 only, right? So okay, later I'll turn on the signals and see maybe you could have got out and lock in the profits first if you see a bearish signal right? But never mind. Let's see what we can do later. Okay, Ken. So that's for Keppel. I think we have one more of you all asking about Keppel as well. Melina, all right, have a position in Keppel. So same thing, right? Same thing. You got a position as well. Average price 10.50 was slightly higher. So 10.50. It could be maybe, so 10.50 could be like you bought it last week, or it could be like you bought it in like January as well, right? Price was dropping but picking up this week. What would be a good level to add or better to sell since price is up? Not too sure if it's a good counter. So maybe you just got in recently, all right? Could it potentially start to reverse back up? Let's find out. So let me go to turn on. Okay, let me just hide this this chat right over here, and before I explain on Keppel. So I would say that for Keppel, what happens is that we are seeing some consolidation right now, right? For Keppel, you can see that the range is quite clearly, I think, around the $10. So I think $10 that came out as a little bit of a support level. You can see it's a psychological level. We got some bullish reversal candles right over here, okay? And resistance will be around the $11.20. Look at this right over here. 1, 2, 3 times selling have came back. This is what we call a sell zone. I think Z have mentioned as well. A sell zone, that's where selling can actually return. So if you want to take some profit near that sell zone, near 11.20, 11.10, 11.15, 11.12, 11 something now, that is where some selling have came back. You could take some profit near there as well, because that's where sellers have repeatedly appeared, all right? A sell zone right over here, okay? Now, let me go to just turn on the bullish and bearish signals from the 1GT Pro indicator to see what it says, right? Pump. There we go, right? So for Keppel, you could see that, in fact, I think this was a stock that we covered since last year, all right? Since last year, pump. 1, 2 bullish signals. Another one came out in September. Another one came out in December, all right? Oh, I don't know how many percent would that be, man. That would be like, so I think this was definitely, I think Jia, that was definitely one of the stock we covered since last year, right? For our clients in Phillip, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. Yeah. So how many percent would that be? 113%, all right? In about 10 months, right? Pretty okay, right? Definitely, we have shared with our clients by WhatsApp on a daily basis. This was definitely one of the stocks that keep on appearing, right? Since last year, because we saw a very strong rally, bullish signals just come out again and again. Trend indicators were all pointing up, okay? But somewhere in February, so can you see that, if you got in, right, then you write 113%, right? Like I think for Lihan, right, you got in 914. So maybe you got in, not too bad, maybe you saw this bullish and you got in, but you can see that, we got a bearish signal out already, 1, 2. All right, never come out yesterday or last week. Since like March already come out, 2 months ago already come out. So by right, if you have got out here, your profits will be a bit more, right? I would say you still can make about 35%, but now becomes 17% only, right? A bit lesser. So I think it's good to know when to get out as well. All right. You get out. I think people always tend to, like, if they get out, then you're scared that you cannot get back in again. Right? Like, oh, what if I sell, then you go up, then you cannot get back in. But the thing is that, if there's some signs of weakness, bearish signal appear, the green short-term trend also turned down, we don't have to rush. We can get out first. I mean, in fact, you get out already 10 minutes later, you want to buy, you can buy one. You get what I mean, right? You don't need to be scared that, you don't get. I think most people tend to have the mentality that, once you get out, means you accept the defeat, right? You take the loss, or maybe your profit is lesser. You could have sold a bit higher, right? But we don't overthink it, all right? If it's time to get out, we get out, all right? Wait for entry again. If it appears the funds could be deployed to other stronger stocks, right? So it will not be stuck for like 2-3 months. Whereby you take the funds back, put it in other stocks, whereby it's moving higher kind. You see what I'm saying so far? All right, Ken. So I think hopefully perhaps you could, I mean, if you have this tool to guide you on when to get out, that would be better, lah. Right? Okay, let's take a look at it right now. I would say that for Keppel, well, we got two bearish signals just came down, but over the past, at least over the past 1 month, at least, I say not too bad, at least the green 20 days moving average line, okay, has from turning down, march down, over the past 1 week, started to flatten out, right? So not too bad, right? At least it's like, some signs of strength have returned now, okay? But the question is that, have we seen a new bullish signal appearing yet, right? What do I mean by bullish signal there? This bullish signal, then this one, right over here, right? This one, if we were to see it, as I say, over here, right? I don't know, right? Maybe next week or next week, I don't know, right? But I think you want to watch this level. As I said, the $11.20 is quite a key resistance. If we were to go above $11.20 or $11.30, I think that would be where, all right, we would trigger a new 1 GT bullish signal. It could be more bullish, all right? And if the green light, so if a bullish signal appear and the green light start to turn up, like what we saw here, right? Bearish signal, green line turn down, bullish signals appearing, green line turn up. Look at it for yourself. Huh? So I don't know it will happen now, but if it happens, that's where we can be alerted. You see what I'm saying? So how to be alerted? Okay, sorry, let me explain. So you can add an alert, all right? I think I said already, but let me just set again in case I forget. One good trend pro buy or sell alert. Once only, all right? So you might be asking, alerted by what? Well, you could send me an email, a pop-up over here, notify me in the app, all right? Apply, okay? Done, right? So when the 1 GT bullish signal gets triggered, that's where I can be alerted. I can take a look at it. If it meets, 4 out of 7 steps in my checklist, it's a gold trade. It's a positive trade setup. It's a high conviction trade setup. And that's where I think we could ride the reversal all the way back up to that $13. So yeah, thankfully, at least some stability have came out, but I think we still wait for more confirmation before entering again. All right, for those of you who are asking about entering again, I think put in your watch list, right? I will see if the $11.20 resistance will give way, and if a new bullish signal actually gets triggered for that added bonus confirmation. All right, so that will be Keppel. Okay, let me pass on the mic to Jia to cover his SG stocks. Jia.
All right, thank you, Joey. So I think since this is the last stock before our bonus stock, I'll be coming on this counter. I think quite a few people were asking about it. Choong. I think just let me extract it out. I think Alex asked quite a few times, Choong cut loss or hold for potential reversal, bought at 1.52. I think someone else was asking about Choong as well. KC told, Choong, please. Not sure whether you're thinking of entering or is it just need me to analyze on it. I think someone else was asking about Choong as well. Hopefully you're still here, Karen. Choong, good price to buy, 1.32. And last person, I think Rekha was also asking about Choong, bought at 1.57. Should I cut loss or hold? Seems to have okay. So I think for Choong wise, if you were to look at this counter, I think previously this counter was also one of the counters that I think Joey mentioned as well. I think last year November, just looking back at it, I think last year November 14, that was when there was a 1 GT bullish signal that started to appear, and I think when it broke above the 80 cents resistance previously, I think that was when we started to recommend about this counter. And if you look at it since then, the counter has went up. I mean, if you look at it since the 1 GT bearish signal is up about 75%, it's actually quite a good one for the Singapore counter. So I think for Choong wise, previously when we recommend it broke above the 80 cents resistance. Afterwards, start to show more strength, and afterwards we can see that prices went up, break above $1, 130, and recently it actually came close to that 160 level. So 160 actually is a resistance level that we actually identified. Like what I mentioned, is actually a sell zone. You can see that prices actually came close to that 160 in March, April. These 2 months, it actually came close to that 160 but couldn't break above. Just for one day, it actually managed to stay above, but afterwards came back down. So 160 is actually quite a strong key resistance level that we can actually notice that sellers always come in around this price to push the price back down. So 130 actually is actually a support level that previously it has broken, came to test in March, and I think just recently, these few days, it's actually able to stay above this 130. So I would say for those who are looking at at this counter, those who actually previously entered for this counter near maybe about 152, I think some of you guys entered near 157, 152. 130 might be a key support level that you want to monitor to see whether prices are able to stay above. Overall, I would say long-term wise, it's still pointing up, it's still doing quite well, but 130 might be a key support level that you want to monitor. And if prices are not able to stay above this 130, you might see that prices might break below this 130, and after that start to show more weakness and maybe move back down to that $1 psychological level. So if prices break below this 130, or you might want to have a stop loss plan in mind, just in case prices start to show more weakness, the 20 days moving average continue to go down, 100 days start to flatten and start to point down, and when there's a crossover, there might be a bearish crossover that you might want to take note of. But if prices are able to stay above this 130, maybe you might see that prices might move close back up to that 160. If prices break above that 160, that could be another sign that there might be more upside for this counter. But overall, I would say currently there's a 1GT bearish signal, some selling pressure for short-term wise. 130 might be a level that you want to closely monitor. So for those who looking to enter, best is to wait for price to stabilize above that 130 first. If it start to show more strength, maybe you can consider to enter afterwards. So for those who actually previously entered, 130 might be a key support level that you want to monitor to see whether it's able to stay above. If it breaks below, you might want to have a stop loss plan in mind. Yeah, I think that's a quick one for Nam Chong. If not, I'll pass on my time to Z to cover her next stop.
All right, thanks, Jia. Okay, let me share my screen over here. Okay, so I think I'll be covering the last stock from requested by you guys. Then we can actually move on to the bonus stock now. Okay, so the last stock that I'll be covering would be by Amy, right? Amy, I hope you are still here. You're asking about First Resources, right? So let's take a look at First Resources, because over the past 2 weeks, you guys can see that it kind of like nosedive lah. Okay, so you mentioned that you bought First Resources at 370 and it plunged. Is this a sign of temporary high volume selling and hold? Okay, so let's see for First Resources, right? I mean, First Resources, definitely, I think all of us can agree that it kind of like plunged, right? From right over here, I think the high was about 390 something to where we are at right now, about 2.63, 2.64. That's about 33%, right? 33%. We got 1 GD bearish signal. We got multiple days of bearish candlestick and a very, very long red candlesticks as well, right? And right now, price is here. Right now price is here, right? So you mentioned you bought at 370, so definitely you are sitting on losses lah, right? Because now price is at $2.64. So the thing is that by right, I hope that you have a stop loss plan lah, and I hope that you actually have gotten out right over here when price break a support level. We got 1 GD bearish signal. If you have a stop limit order in place, right? So that's the whole reason why. Usually, right, when we analyze any stock, right, when we talk about support zones, resistance zone, buy zone, sell zone, but at the end of the day, always remember that you need to manage your risk. You need to manage your downside, because when you buy into any stock, definitely there will be risk involved, right? People typically always think about the upside only, but you also need to think about the downside, because there won't be 10 out of 10, you will always get a winning trade. Definitely there will be losing trades, and we must be okay with the losses, right? And the thing is that if prices or if the stock don't go according to plan, it is not always rosy, always going up to your target price. If it goes below and it dips further, then what are you going to do about it, right? That is where we want to have a plan to actually get out, right? So by right over here, we can see that this 350, right, is actually kind of, I would say, like a support area, right? A support zone, because prices, you can see over here, right, April is surged all the way up to about 385, and then it came down, right? Profit taking actually happened, push price back down, right, to this about 350 zone, and it tested this level, right? Buyers came in to push price back up once again, close to the $4 psychological level. Then it started to nosedive, right? It started to plunge, and that is where we got 1 GD bearish signal. So you mentioned that you bought about 370, so I will assume you bought maybe somewhere here lah, because that is the only period that it touched about 370, right? So somewhere here you bought at about 370, right? So when you actually got in at that point in time, you should have think about, okay, my entry is easy, right? Anybody buy can also buy, like what Joey say, right? You got money, you can buy, right? Any price also can, but typically, I mean, of course, like what I mentioned, we always want to buy near the support, right? So when you buy, you need to know where's your exit in terms of your target. If price goes up to a certain level, you may want to take profits, exit, right? If it don't go up to a certain level, it breaks so-called what is your support, right? If it breaks your support, then you might want to think about getting out. So right over here, by right, we should have a stop loss plan in place, slightly below, right? Slightly below a support level. Because if this actually happens, and right here, we got 1GD bearish signal on this very day, right here, probably you would have already gotten out, right? It may hit your stop. It would have hit your stop limit order, triggered your stop limit order and get filled, right? And perhaps your losses would be from here to here. But of course, I don't know what's your position sizing lah, right? But it will be 6%, right? About maybe a 6%. But now we are talking about a 30%. That's like almost a times 5. So usually always have a stop loss plan in place. But okay, don't worry, never mind. Now we take a look at it, right? Because you are still holding on to a position, then what are some of the levels then you want to take note of, right? So over here, now price is at 2.64. You can see immediate support, right? I would say maybe around this $2.50 lah. This $2.50, this was previously where we started to see, buying pressure. Returns, buyers came in to support at these prices. Right now, prices seems to be heading back to that 250 support level. I don't know whether will it hold, but if it doesn't hold, then I think better need to have a plan to actually get out lah, because you don't want to be holding on to losses, and your losses every day get bigger and bigger until to a point then maybe you will see already also very thin, right? Because right now, if we take a look at it from here to about 370, we are looking at price. For you to break even, you need the price to go back at 40%. Yeah, 40%, right? And usually if price continue to actually head down, people don't do anything about it. Your opportunity cost is there, right? Because your money gets stuck, right? So always have a plan in place, right? So I think this 250 definitely will be one of the levels that you would want to monitor lah. If this level break, then I think potentially you can see, right? Previously was consolidation here. We might see even lower back to, the $2.20 level. Right over here, the downside that we are looking at is another 12%. So, I mean, of course, we don't want that lah. We don't want that. We don't want our losses to get bigger, right? So by right, like I mentioned, here, if you have gotten out, even better. But right now, we are here. If 250 doesn't hold, I think better to have a plan to actually get out, right? Because as you can see, there's always a saying, right, that people always say, like, I don't know if you guys heard of it. The bulls always climb the stairs. Like you see very slow, slowly climb the stairs. But then the bears, it just jump out of the window, right? You can see that it just jump out of the window and it just plunge, right? So always have a plan in place to manage your downside, okay? So I think these are some of the levels, right? Especially, I mean, $3 will be the immediate psychological resistance. If it's able to hold above the 250, perhaps this $3 is where, if prices were to head back to this level, this is where, we might start to see some selling returning once again, because based on the price action that we have seen here, you can see that selling pressure came back, right? There's long upper shadows appearing once again near this resistance zone. So I think $250, $3, that will be the immediate level that perhaps Amy might want to take note of. Knowing that now there's a 1GD bearish signal, we have 20 days moving average pointing down, and those of you who are thinking about buying, like we mentioned, we usually want to wait for a confluence of factors before thinking about entering. When we are starting to see short-term aligning to longer term, and we got a 1GD bullish signal plus price breaking resistance turning into a support. Okay, so that would be for first resources. I hope that helps, and I will pass my time back over to Joey so that we can kickstart with the bonus section today.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, and that would be the final stock for today, first resources. All right, so we have to cover a total of like 15 stocks today. It's like more than 3 hours. It's like almost I think like 1:30 over PM. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. If you have been here for more than 3 hours, all right, we'll go on to the next section, which will be the 3 bonus stocks that me, Jia Yi, and Z will share with you. All right, so let me just go to share my screen, and maybe before I talk about the 3 bonus stocks, very quickly, right? Just a sum up or quick, shout out of all the stocks we covered. So in case you missed it, in case you were asking about it after that, right? Or you can watch the replay. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Facebook page as well, so that you can watch the replay easily. Okay, so the very first stock that we covered was Addvalue Tech, and I think that is kind of like breaking that 20 cents psychological resistance. I think the market is a bit more bullish as we are doing these past 3 hours, right? I was looking at my watch list now and like almost everything all green color. So do check your watch list. Seems like we're seeing a bit of strength in the market, all right, over the past 2 hours. Okay, but first stock Addvalue Tech, second stock Yangzijiang Shipbuilding, third one Geo Energy, Singtel, Wilmar, Bumitama Agri, ST Engineering, Boustead, DBS, CNMC Goldmine, iFast, CSE Global, Keppel, Cheong. Finally, Z covered First Resources, right? And today, right now, the very first bonus stock I will share with you guys would be this company called UMS, right? One of the Singapore tech stocks that we have covered since the beginning of the year. Of course, we have sent out a couple of notes to our clients in Philip Securities by WhatsApp daily. Those of you who are a client, check it out. You probably receive a few times since like January, February already, all right? Maybe over the past few weeks also got received, all right? Not a client yet? You want to receive? Good. Link is right in the chat. Check out how to become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free by having a free trading account, right? Especially if you're not getting anything from your broker. And just want to share, I mean, that's what we hear from many of our clients. Thousands of clients come to us because they always say that we got service or no service, so I just log into a trading account, to the online web, to the mobile app, right? And then my broker never send me anything, no, nothing, no service, right? If that's you, right, then check it out. Of course, if your broker do provide service, and then please stay with him or her, don't come, right? It's not easy to provide, to add value and stuff also, so you understand that. But if there's no service one, then you can come. Okay, again? Okay, let's move on to this stock right over here called UMS, right over here at $2.79. So why is this stock in our watch list? Why? You can see that since like last year, where we got bearish, right? So if you ask me in like November and December, I would say buy for what, right? Boring nothing right? Bearish signal, don't know what it's doing, going down and like sideways a bit, right? A bit boring, right? But somewhere around like January, right? December, when we got the first 1 GT bullish signal, that is like the appetizer, all right? The beginning, get ready to watch, get ready to maybe think about getting in. When the second 1 GT bullish signal came in, that's it, right? Right? Went up slightly. When the third 1 GT bullish signal come out, it's faster already, all the way up, right? Until now, there is still no red color 1 GT bearish signal. Correct, right? I cannot see, you cannot see it, right? Same, right? So there's still no 1 GT bearish signal, right? I think that's what we have covered for some of the accounts. I think Z covered CSE Global also, right? Another stock that we talk about as well. We share our clients, same thing, right? We have been covering it. Looks good. Uptrend indicators are still playing out well. Bullish signals are still intact, showing. All right, and we can continue to ride it, right? Continue to ride it, but not just ride it blindly, such that if you see a bearish signal, then you still hold all the way down, no, right? If you don't see a bearish signal, all right, if everything still looks good, the long-term trend is up, the green line still pointing up, right? Still okay, right? So short-term trend is up, all right, and I would say how many percent would that be, right? That would be easily from now to there, 149%, right? In about 5 months. 149% in 5 months, I guess, right? UMS, okay? And counting, because I don't know whether it can be 200 or 300%, I don't know, right? But there's no 1 GT bearish signal. And if I could quickly turn on, all right, this same trailing support level that we talk about as well, right? The third box pump. You can see that when the bullish signals popped up in December, January, a trailing support has followed. Okay, let me just go to turn off the moving averages so it's a bit clearer. So the long-term trend is up, right? Short-term trend is up, green line. Yeah, green line still pointing up. So that one's settled. You can turn off. Okay, settled already. Okay, and you can see that from this trailing support as another confirmation, we have been above it. UMS has been above it, right? Since like December, right? As UMS move up, it followed it up, right? Up, flat, follow, flat, follow. But when you follow, don't follow too closely. You can see got some space on my right. See, got space. Why? Because we give the stock the space to breathe. We account for the volatility of a stock, right? As long as you're above it, we give you the space, right? We fend you a bit, hopefully you can go up some more, right? That is where hopefully it goes up, great. If you're above it, great. Continue riding, continue maximizing our profits, right? And right now you see that over the past few days, past maybe 3 weeks or 2 weeks, right? We have been above the trailing support still. In fact, like near it, and buyers came back and pushed it all the way back up again. right over here, right? So that's what we call a support zone near the trailing support level. So I think trailing support would be around at 250, right? 250 would be a trailing support level. A horizontal support would be slightly higher, seems like 260, so slightly higher. 260 would be a horizontal support, all right? The trailing support is lower. Why? Because got space, right? We give it some space, so it's slightly lower, right? But if you look at it, it doesn't even go to the trailing support, right? Over the past 1, 2 weeks, seems like 260, some buyers starting to buy, start to move sideways a bit already, okay? So I think it still looks okay. Anything above 260 or maybe even 250, the uptrend looks intact. Indicators are still good, okay? Upside could be maybe all the way to $3.20 to $3. I think that is where potentially some selling can come back again based on what we have seen in terms of the reversal red candle right over here. But so far so good. So far so good. Now it's $2.79. So I would say 280. I'll write it down. $2.80. You can see would be the 1 week. So the past 1 week plus 280 is a resistance level. Let me just draw it right a bit. I can see 280. Came down. In fact, today, I think just now in the morning, it went to like 283. And then we came back down again. Now it's like 279, right? So 280 would be what we call a temporary resistance level, right? Over the past 1 week. If you can break the 280, like we go to 281, 282, 283, don't come back down. I mean, you go and then you stay above it. That is where there would be some signs of strength in terms of getting out of this little, minor consolidation. You could see the reversal happen a bit faster, right? All the way to 320. All right, so this is UMS, not too bad, right? Indicators, let me just turn it back on again. Pump, right? Look good, long-term trend up, short-term trend up, above the trailing support, even above the higher horizontal support, and a potential break of that $2.80 resistance, the temporary resistance, could see the next move higher, all the way to $3.20. Okay, so that's my bonus stock for today. Let me pass on the mic to Jia Yi to cover his bonus stock. Jia Yi, yours.
All right, thank you, Joey, for covering UMS. I think my bonus stock will be something slightly more stable. It will be on NetLink Trust. So I'm not too sure whether you guys heard of this counter before, but it's basically Singapore's passive fiber network. I think this counter somehow kind of benefits from all the AI boom, and I think I'll be covering on this counter. So if you look at it, obviously we can see that the trend has been going up. 100 days, 200 days always has been pointing up, showing a lot of strength. It has been going up. 20 days also has been showing strength. But this counter is more of a kind of like a REIT, slightly more stable. The movement is slightly more slower as compared to other counters, but at least if we look at it, it provides some dividends as well as growth in this counter as well. So if you look at the trend for this counter, previously it broke above that 90-cent resistance, turning into a new support, was kept under that 940, managed to kind of try to break above, and in January it managed to break above, and now currently it's kind of testing near to that $1 psychological resistance level. You can see that prices try to break above this $1 today, but still kind of kept under this $1. So it could be a sign that if prices manage to break above that 1 and stay above for the next few days, there could be a sign that there might be more upside for this counter. So overall, with a 1GT bullish signal, this counter is still showing strength, and where could be a potential upside. I mean, if you do a simple projection of, I think, about 60-cent range, maybe the next upside might be towards that 106 level, which could be a next resistance that this counter might be looking at, or where that might be the next target. But overall, I think for this counter wise, NetLink, it's kind of stable, showing slow and stable growth. It's been going up, showing good strength. If it's able to break above that $1, there might be a sign that there may be more upside towards that 106. So I think that's a bonus stock that you can look at. If prices are not able to break above that $1, the next the support will be around at 94 cents, which is around here, which you can look to accumulate for this counter around this support level. And if you were to turn on that trailing support, we can also notice that the trailing support it's also near that 94 cent. So 94 cent might be a good level that if it pulls back to this level, you can consider to accumulate. Or if prices break above that $1, that could be another support level or support zone that you, or buying zone that you can look at to accumulate or to add on or to buy for this Netlink Trust. I think that's for Netlink Trust, which is my bonus stock. If not, I'll pass on to Z to cover a bonus stock.
All right, thanks, Jia. Okay, so we have come to the very end of today's session, and my bonus stock that I would like to share with you guys today will be this stock called PC Partner Group Limited. And I think just now I saw, I think it was Yatri, right? Yatri mentioned I picked PCT on same volume building at $2. What is the overall upside expected to does 245 look realistic, right? So Yatri actually picked my bonus stock for today, which is something that I want to cover with you guys. And I think this is a stock that is perhaps not very well known at this point in time, right? But this is something that I think has been riding pretty nicely in terms of the AI semicon narrative, right? If you guys know about it over the past 1 to 2 months, yeah, that whole sector basically boomed, right? And this is something that is in the Singapore market that if you would like to have some of those kind of like AI semis exposure, this is something that perhaps you can look into it and put it in your watch list as well, right? Because the thing is that I agree with what Yatri said, right, in terms of volume, because I think what we are seeing, right, for this stock, right, is that there is also improving volume. Because if I were to zoom out, you guys can also see, right, previously, not much volume on. There are days, however, it's so illiquid that no trades actually happen, right? You can see that there's like those dash days, right? So the volume back then really not that, I would say not that appealing lah. But now what we are seeing is that we are seeing improving volume coming back into a stock. And I think that is something whereby when it aligns together with the trend, you know, things starts to get more momentum lah. If I were to just quickly turn on this, right, you can see the volume over here. You see last time, so little, right? And look at this, right? The volume surged by a lot, right? Volume surged by a lot. But one thing that I will also need to highlight to you guys is that for this particular stock, right, it is still, I would say, a relatively, let me see, where is the information? Right over here. It's a relatively small cap name in the Singapore market. So, like what I mentioned earlier on, it has not been the most liquid counter around since when it started to list on our secondary market in the stock market. Previously, by the way, it was actually first listed in Hong Kong. Then after that, it got listed to Singapore market, I think not too long ago, back in 2024 as a 2012. It listed in Singapore from Hong Kong to Singapore, and then Singapore, it went into our secondary listing only back in 2024 last year, right? So that is where investors can start to trade this stock, right? And this is where we are at. So at the start, not very liquid, but now definitely more liquidity. But because of the fact that it is still a small cap stock, right? Sometimes you might expect a bumpier ride and a bit more volatility, right? Because compared to DBS compared to Singtel, those are big cap, right? Blue chips, but this is totally on the different spectrum. Okay, so that is just something to note at the back of your mind when you are looking at this stock. Okay, so let us take a look at this right now, right? Okay, I think my computer might be hang a little bit. I don't know if you guys can still actually see me and hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yep, can go ahead.
Okay, I think I'm back. Yeah, sorry, I think the internet connection has some problem. My computer might be a bit dusty Okay, so anyway, for PC Partner Group, right? Just a little bit information about this, right, is that you can see right over here is actually in the electronics technology, computer peripherals, right? So that's why I say it plays nicely into the AI narrative. It takes a look at, video graphic cards, right? Electronic manufacturing services and things like that. So that is basically what the company does, right? But then, of course, we also have to take a look at the technicals, right? How does the technical look like, right? So over the past, I wouldn't say past year because past year, even in 2025, it doesn't look too appealing. And even if 2025, I don't think we will actually be looking at this stock, and I don't think this stock will even be on our watch list, right? I think it's only at the start of 2026, right? That is when things start to get a little bit more interesting. Let me close this, right? And this is where we started to see more interest returning to the counter. 20 days moving average start to move up. There's 1 GT bullish signal, right? And I think this was where the reversal play started, but not much confirmation yet until we start to see this. The longer term trend also give you confirmation whereby the red actually crossed above the blue, right? Giving you confirmation that the longer term trend has started, right? And now, I mean, of course, now we see everything is actually pointing up, right? And all three moving averages are heading up. We got a new 1GT bullish signal appearing right over here. There's a bearish signal previously, profit taking happened, push price back down. And now, once again, we got a new 1GT bullish signal actually appearing. Okay, so then again, I think this is where comes the golden question, right? Usually people will ask, hey, so actually this stock really look not too bad, right? But where do I potentially position myself for entry, right? So right here, you can see that I think $2.10, right, is the immediate support that I have drawn, right? Previously, definitely it was a resistance, right? Selling pressure came in, push price back down, and we got 1GT bearish signal, right? Price went down to test this $1.70, which is the support, right? I mean, it's still a valid support, right? But it's just that I think now the support has become a new higher support, which is from 170 to become $2.10. And when price break this $2.10, we got a new 1GT bullish signal appearing as well, right? So knowing the fact that this is now the new higher support, potentially this would be a support zone that we could look at, right? And you can see right over here, I already set my alert. My alert, this one I set my own alert, right? You can see, you can put the price crossing this zone, right? Maybe you can put at 210, 211. Then I own self put my note to remind myself, right? Near 210 support, right? So you guys can actually also do that, right? Near a support zone, right? And then that will be a potential support zone for potential entry, right? But always remember, we always say need to have a trading plan, right? What about target leh? Because now price, if I were to look all the way back, definitely this is an all-time high. And in fact, I would say that this 210, actually, you should give more weightage to this 210. Why? Because if you are to look back right over here, you can see that this was the all-time high back here when it got listed, right? And then it reached here, selling pressure came in, push price back down. So now it actually broke above that level and it's still holding above it. So I would say 210 definitely is one of the level that you want to watch out for lah. Okay, so resistance, right? Sorry, back to resistance, right? Resistance. What about the target level? So based on this, we know that a 210, 170, this was the range that it was kind of like trading, right? Between like May, right? And if I were to do a very simple projection from here to here, upwards from these 210, can you see that it nicely sit at this $2.50, which $2.50, it is also a psychological level, right? A psychological round nice number whereby typically sometimes people would like to take profits as well, right? So here, I would say around 250, maybe 245, 250, 240. This zone would be what I would deem it as a potential sell zone, right? So now I got sell zone, I got buy zone, but of course you also need to have your stop loss, right? Because we need to manage downside, and also like I've mentioned, this stock, it could be a situation whereby it is slightly more volatile because of the small cap, right? Situation, and also this is maybe previously it was pretty illiquid right? And now there's a surge of volume, right? As we can see right over here, right? So if you are thinking about trading plan, one of the place that you can potentially set some stop limit order, where would that be, right? We can consider to put it slightly below the support level. Why? Because if a support level is broken, what does it tell you? I mean, you guys all maybe can let me know lah, right? I think, and you guys all would probably agree with me that if the support level is broken, it turns to become, number one, a resistance. And also, it means that selling pressure come back, right? So, not so good, right? So, that is when you can also potentially get out of your position, right? So, I think based on this, it still looks great. But at this point in time right now, today, you can see that price have already surged all the way up to 2.37. And usually, we always refrain from chasing a stock, right? Just because, like, don't buy a stock because you want to chase it. You are scared that you miss the boat or FOMO, right? I think those are not good reasons for you to actually enter. And I think just now, who was it? I think SG Boy Wonder, right, was like saying patience is virtue, right? 100% I agree with that, right? So that is the reason why we always set alerts as well to notify us of when price actually reach back to a potential buy zone. Then that is where we can let our plan play out, right? And execute your plan, be disciplined enough to follow your trading plan and let it play out. Right, but overall, I think PCT partners, right, this stock definitely is something that is in my watch list. I've set my alerts as well. And yeah, I think if you guys like this stock, you want to be having some of this exposure, but don't want to touch the US market, right? Maybe US market at night, too volatile. You want to have some exposure in the semi-AI conductor, then this is something in the Singapore market that you can potentially look at, right? But just remember the risk that I mentioned now, okay? So that would be for PCT. I hope you guys actually like this stock. If you guys want, add it into your watch list, okay? And with that, I think I've come to the end of my bonus stock, and I'll pass my time back over to Joey to close off today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. And there we have it, guys. We have gone on for more than 3 hours, right? So we hope that you guys got value in this entire AMAS session for the Singapore market today, all right? And you're a bit clearer on the stocks that you asked. And for those of you who we don't have the time to cover all your stocks, very sorry, all right? Hopefully you can join us next Friday. So I think next Friday we'll be back to the US market again. So next week, then we'll be back to Singapore market, right? So, but the 3 bonus stock that we shared was UMS by me, Jia covered on Netlink, NBN Trust, and Z just covered on PC Partner Group. All right, so we hope that you can put this stock on your watch list, check it out. All right, as I say, if you want to find out how to pretty much have the entire strategy broken all down for you step by step in a very systematic checklist, we do have a free webinar next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Team just placed the link in the chat again, right? So that's, I think, probably the last webinar, right? So check it out, link in the chat. That's where I'll dive more into the entire One Good Trend strategy and how we have a tool like the One Good Trend Pro indicator that we have been using, all right, to analyze your stock and even the bonus stock as well, right? That's where we can guide on when to get in and also when to get out. And not only that, right, to actually filter out the top 1% of winning stocks before we even act on them. I think that's very important because the stocks that we are covering, right, is like, the stock that you guys were asking about, right? They might not even be in the 1% of stocks. You see what I'm saying, right? Like they might not be the top stock. So why do you even want to buy the 30% or the 50% stock, right? We want the top 1%, the Taiwan, the good one, right? The good stock whereby, no matter what, it's a very high winning probability, but doesn't mean top 1% means you're buy, right? Top 1% plus you still know when to buy and sell them. Don't you think the odds of winning are much higher? All right, so that's what we do. All right, I'll share more in the One Good Trend webinar next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Link is right in the chat. I think there's some questions as well, right? SG Boy Wonder, I'm with Poems. I want to switch the reminder to Joey Teams. How to do that? SG Boy Wonder, just click on the link in the chat. Team just place the link in the chat as well. As I say, a very good one. So, if you have a trading account in Singapore, it could be Poems, in Philip Securities, it could be anywhere as well, all right, online brokers, and you don't get any service, then check it out so that you can get some of those ideas, all right, like UMS, like, for PC partners as well. Over here, even for UMS that we've been talking about, we've been sharing over the past few months. If you get these ideas much faster daily for free, right, at no additional cost, make sure you come aboard as a client of mine in Philip Securities, right? I don't think you can get this service anywhere, all right? You do not pay anything more. To be 100% clear, right? You do not pay anything more. It's the same as whatever you're paying when you're trading, okay? But at least you get some service. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, Ken, so anything to add, Jia and Z, before we end off today? I think it's almost like 2 p.m.
Sorry, I think you're muted, but I think
sorry.
I think for my end, nothing much. I just saw someone asking about US stock. So if you're interested in US stock, just join us next week so that we can cover on your US stock. I think it was on Sundays and Micron. Yep. So if you're interested, join us next week. We'll cover on that. For Z.
Yeah. And I think for the next 2 weeks, right, probably you will see 3 of us again because Bervin will be on reservice. Yeah. So
serving the nation.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we hope to see you guys again for the next, next 2 weeks, Singapore, US as well, to cover more of your stocks and to add more value to you guys.
All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much. It's 2 p.m. All right, we're going to have lunch ready. All right, we're going for more than 3 hours, one of our longest AMES session, but we hope you guys got value, right? So have a good weekend. Take care. We'll see you guys next Friday again in our weekly AMAS session. Signing off, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.